What is up, everybody? Welcome to Filling in the Gaps. I'm your host, Flojo, and we are gonna get things kicking off in just a second, you guys. I just want to make sure that I say what's up to everybody that's hanging out in the chats. Who do we have? Coco Mom was in the building. Mac Dizzle was here. Sydney. Congrats to Sydney. She has now become our mod for YouTube. So everybody, congrats to Sydney. Who else do we have? Cash H. A shout out to Cash. Cash joined the inner circle before the show even went live. So congrats and welcome to the inner circle, Cash. What is up, everybody? How's it going? Y'all were getting active in the chat like 15 minutes before we started, huh? What's up? What's up? Ooh, I see a lot of yellow chats. What's up? Who else do we have? Michelle's here. Cat's ears here. Anna Banana. Tammy's in the house. Soul Power Tarot Coaching. What's up? Cindy from sunny South Florida. Hey. How's it going, everybody? Good evening from Los Angeles. All right, I gotta turn the chats on because y'all are just going ham. How do I do that though? There you go. There you go. Chats are on. Chats are on over there. It looks funny when I point. Anyways, it's over there. All right. Cat's here. Unfortunately, tonight we're just going to be talking about Nancy Guthrie. Just kind of talk about some of the updates that happened today. I've been in and out of the interwebs today and I haven't been able to catch up, so we're going to catch up together. I really hope you guys don't mind. But anyways, let's see. Shout out to Cash for joining the inner circle and becoming a member. Cool. So, what happened today? I was contemplating whether or not to watch the press conference that they held this afternoon. But then I looked at how long it was and it was like 50 minutes. And I was like, no, we ain't got time for all of that, right? So basically, we'll just kind of go through some of the updates, right? I think it was really the interwebs, the internet, whatever you call it, right, Cash? One of those. The crazy webs, one of those, right? Yeah. You know, it's been a busy day, right? But we still do not know where Nancy Guthrie is. She has not returned home. We actually do know that one of the deadlines for one of the ransom requests was missed, right? I want to say February 2nd or 3rd, one of those. One of those was missed. Hey, Soul Power Tarot Coaching just became a member and joined the inner circle. Welcome. All right, y'all, hold on. I gotta select this stuff. OBS is tripping today. All right, you guys. So there's a few things that we're gonna go over today. We're not gonna jump into the press conference. It was a little long, with nothing new, right? Basically, the forensic breakthrough that we'll talk about. Authorities have confirmed that the blood at the front porch of Nancy's Tucson home is a 100% DNA match to her, right? But so what else happened today? So we'll just kind of take a look at the timeline that actually came out today. Let me just kind of make this a little bit bigger so you guys can see this. But so today they were saying this is the timeline that they showed at the press conference. I think Brian Enton grabbed this. I think he was able to take a photo of this. So this is what we have, right? So on January 31st, 2026 at approximately 5:32 p.m., Nancy travels to local family's home. And then at 9:48, family drops Nancy off at home and the garage door opens. So 9:48. 2 minutes later at 9:50, the garage door closes. And then on February 1st at 1:47, the doorbell camera disconnects. Very odd, right? 1:47. So this is where now we're starting to develop a more detailed timeline as to what was going on that night of February 1st. At 2:12 a.m., software detects person on camera. No available video. That's pretty crazy. And it says there in the parentheses, there's no subscription. So the Nest cameras did not have a subscription. What's going on? It's crazy, right? They don't have a subscription to their Nest. I mean, I feel like anybody who has cameras at home should definitely have a subscription, so then that way you guys can monitor your house 24/7. Proof of life is not anymore. Yeah, right. That is proof of life. It's crazy because we're what? How many hours now? We're already past 72 hours. It's probably been about like 96 hours at the moment. This lady needs her medication, right? She has a pacemaker. She's on medications that are life sustaining. She needs medications to stay alive is what they're saying. And they said that she cannot go more than 24 hours without them. So imagine 24 hours. It's already been like 96, right? 2:28 a.m. Pacemaker app shows disconnected from the phone. And then at 11:56 a.m., family checks on Nancy, which is weird, right? Because there's a time, well, I feel like there's a timestamp that's really missing right in the middle of this. because she was supposed to be at church on Sunday at 9 o'clock. By 9:10 is what we were told. The church notifies the family, and then they go back to the house. Well, I guess they don't go back to the house, right? It says here that 11:56, family checks on Nancy. So there's about almost a 3 hour difference, right? From the time that a call was made to the time that the family checks on Nancy. That's a little odd. What took them almost 3 hours to arrive? Then by 12:03 p.m., 911 calls. There's a 911. Okay. So there's about what, 7 minutes until they make a phone call to 911. And then by 12:15 p.m., the patrol arrives. So I think sometimes people subscribe at first, then fail to renew. You know what? I'm like the opposite, right? Sometimes I'll accidentally sign up for a subscription, and then I'll accidentally forget to cancel. And then I'll take a look at my bank account and realize like I ain't got no more money. Then I'll check my subscriptions, and then everything's been charged. Everything that I forgot to cancel has been charged, right? Is it just me, or has that happened to any of you guys? I swear I can't be the only one. I better not be the only one. All right. So press conference happens, and then I want to say around, I think this was like 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Let's see. Let's check the time. No, 4 p.m. I made a mistake. 4 p.m. Actually, let's go back because we got to go in chronological order, right? Today, I want to say it was around afternoon, 12:28 p.m. We learned that a Los Angeles man named Derek Kayea, I don't know how you say it, Kalela, has been arrested by the FBI for allegedly sending text to the Guthrie family to ask for Bitcoin and see if they would respond. His text messages are not believed to be connected to the ransom demand. So we have an imposter, you guys. We have hold on, let me see. Okay, so Cindy said, I'm not alone. I forget all the time to cancel stuff. Okay, cool. Makes me feel a little bit better, right? But somebody was arrested, you guys. There's a tweet that came out around 12 o'clock that said somebody was arrested, and it was a guy from Los Angeles. A man named Derek Kalela has been arrested by the FBI for allegedly sending texts to the Guthrie family, right, to ask for Bitcoin and see if they would respond. His text messages are not believed to be connected to the ransom demand. This is wild. You got to be out of your freaking mind to send a text message to these people who are going through whatever it is that they're going through, right? And try to demand money from them? That is ridiculous. Feds say he tried to use a VoIP app, okay? Which they were able to quickly get around via emergency disclosure request to their mobile carrier, and then they found his IP address and linked it to his California address. That's crazy. So we were able to obtain the criminal complaint, and it states here, on or about February 4th, the defendant Derek Kayea, I don't know if it's a Latin or Hispanic last name. Somebody in the chat can correct me. Coco Mom said my Ring subscription is $111 a year, and I have 6 cameras. Ooh, they could afford it. I can't. $111. Jeez. What the hell is wrong with him, right? Let's see. Went on his page and he is a creep. Oh, we'll get into that. Well, you know what? There were some photos that were shared earlier today. And I'm not sure if the same person that, that was being shown today is actually the same person. And the reason why I say that is because when I was looking, the first names were spelled differently. So the Derek Kalela that I came across was spelled with E-R-E-K. And it's crazy because that's my brother's name, right? But we're going to take a look at his photos, and then you guys be the judge, all right? But it says on or about play some music so I don't just sound drowned. On or about February 4th, 2026, defendant Derek Kallela, with the intent to transmit a demand for ransom, did transmit in interstate or foreign commerce any communication containing any demand or request for a ransom or reward for the release of any kidnapped person in violation of Title 18. On or about February 4th, defendant Derek Kallela, in interstate or foreign communication, made a telephone call and utilized a telecommunications device, whether or not conversation or communication ensues, without disclosing his identity and with the intent to abuse, threaten, or harass any specific persons in violation of Title 47. This was signed by Magistrate Judge Maria Aguilera. That was today, February 5th, 2026. Page 2. Let's see. Let me turn off this chat so y'all can see. Oh, see, Dub said, hell nah, that is not my name. Spell it correctly. He spells it D-E-R-E-K. We get it. We get it. Your name's Derek. We get it. We get it. All right. So it says NG was last seen inside her residence in the Catalina Foothills community outside Tucson, Arizona on January 31st. 84-year-old woman with mobility issues that likely preclude her from walking long distances unassisted. On the morning of February 1st, 2026, a friend of NG contacted the victim's family and notified them that NG had not attended church that morning. At approximately noon on February 1st, 2026, NG's family entered her residence and determined that she was missing and reported her disappearance to law enforcement. Law enforcement arrived shortly thereafter and determined that NG had left basic essentials inside her home, including her wallet, her car, cell phone, hearing aid. I had no idea that she had a hearing aid. And medications. NG's blood was found on the outside of her residence near the porch. On February 2nd, news station KOLD, a CBS affiliate in Tucson, Arizona, received a ransom demand via their online tip portal. The demand listed a Bitcoin wallet address to receive the ransom payment. And then on the 4th, the families published a video asking NG's kidnappers to contact them about their mother. That is insane, y'all. Ramona Light Healer, how's it going? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, hello. That's a good question, right, Tammy? Who was the right to church? You know, I was listening to something earlier today, and somebody had mentioned that there's a possibility that she hadn't shown up to church in years. I don't know. That's not verified, you guys. So just take that with a grain of salt. I don't know if it's real or not. But there was a rumor that she hadn't actually physically attended church in a few years. Don't know if it's true. So that's something that we'll have to verify. But on counts 1 and 2, on or about February 4th, shortly after the video was published, AC, I'm assuming that's Annie Cioni and Tommaso Cioni, the daughter and son-in-law of NG, both separately received a text message. Wow. Okay, from the following phone number. Ooh, they got his phone number. Okay, All right. Should have redacted this first. But did you get the Bitcoin? Were SIC waiting on our end for the transaction? AC and TC received these texts while in Arizona. Law enforcement was able to determine through open source methods that the 0552 number was associated with a voice over internet protocol, text and call application that allows users to obtain another phone number for their mobile device separate from the number assigned to them by the wireless carrier. What a dumbass. That's all I gotta say. What a low budget dumbass criminal, right? He probably had a $5 a month voice over internet protocol text and call application, and he got caught. Greedy, selfish motherfucker. That is crazy. As an additional security to the door cam, it's quite easy to scratch door numbers and zip codes onto it, making it worthless to sell. Yikes. Yeah, right, Tammy. Yeah, no, that's definitely something we gotta verify. I heard it on another show earlier today. Um, but I obviously we'll look into that because we haven't been able to confirm that at all. No, there's been no sources that have mentioned that. I feel like that would be a really key thing to remember, right? And a thief. Don't forget that. Absolutely. A Timu criminal, said Cozy GG. What's up? What's up, GG? How's it going? Yeah, I wonder which one he was using. Anybody know which one he was using? Viber. All right, where were we? Okay. Ooh, they even put his email address there. Yikes. Okay. The records also indicated that the 0552 number had been accessed from the following IP address at approximately 6:02 p.m. on February 4th. Law enforcement submitted an emergency disclosure request to the internet provider for the 103 IP address and determined that the 103 IP address was associated with Kalela's residence in California. So this is page 3. It says, after Miranda warnings, Kalela admitted, he finally admitted to sending the 2 text messages. He admitted to using the VoIP account from which 2 actual text messages came from. That's so stupid. What an idiot. I don't know. Everybody give a thumbs down in the chat for this idiot. Cozy said, doing well. And you? I'm just trying to stay on top of this news. Absolutely. We're trying to give you the most recent and updated news, right? I'm sure some of you guys have been following along earlier today, wherever you guys get your news from. But I'm trying to just, catch you guys up with some of the events that took place today and then some of the new stuff that just came out. So maybe you guys haven't seen it yet. So let's see. Kalela stated that he pulled family information from a cyber website that he'd been following along and watching TV. When he said that he sent the text messages, he was trying to see if family would respond. Damn. I could just that's like the talk of shame, right? To have that conversation, to admit it. Wow, what an idiot. We're gonna give him one of these. Data received shows that approximately 3 minutes after the text messages, Kalela called a family member of the NG, which lasted 9 seconds. The 2 text messages have not been linked to the February 2nd ransom demand. So the imposter was arrested, which tells me that the people who sent the ransoms previously, these people might be some professionals, you guys. Might be some professionals. So I'm going to show you guys a photo of who other people have put out as the person arrested. And this is a photo of Derek Kalela. Not sure where this photo came from. Oh, actually, I know where the photo came from, but I don't know if the sources have been vetted, right? So this is Derek Kalela, a Timu criminal, huh, Jezzy? You've been hit back. You've been struck by. Oh, damn. I was trying to do a voice sound effect. A Timu criminal. But yeah, this is Derek Kalela. These are some other photos that we've obtained. So, if this is actually Derek Kalela who was arrested, these are some of the photos that we were able to obtain. I don't know. What do you guys think? Is he the best criminal of the month? No, we're not going to give him a round of applause. He still gets one of these. Fail, my dude. My dude, fail. It's crazy too because he's from Los Angeles. Actually, he's from Long Beach, if I'm not mistaken. These people from Long Beach, they are brave. Brave. And earlier this afternoon, another video was put out by the family, the brother of Savannah Guthrie. And so this is what he had to say. I don't think this is a long video, you guys. This is going to be pretty quick.
Holding our mother, we want to hear from you. We
investigating a strip.
haven't heard anything directly. We need you to reach out, and we need.
Actually, hold on. Let me see, because I have this video here. Let's make sure we just get everything from the beginning.
This is Cameron Guthrie. I'm speaking for the Guthrie family. Whoever is out there holding our mother, we want to hear from you. We haven't heard anything directly. We need you to reach out, and we need a way to communicate with you so we can move forward. But first, we have to know that you have our mom. We want to talk to you, and we are waiting for contact.
So obviously they've responded. They've let whoever the person that sent the ransom know that they are ready to talk. But before any transactions take place, right, there needs to be a proof of life. I was told that the ransom letter that was sent in, they were requesting for millions of dollars, right? And does a family have that? Does a family even have $1 million or two or three? Earlier today, we found out that Savannah Guthrie, you know, her annual salary is about $7 to $8 million, right? So and it said that her net worth is anywhere between $40 million, $50 million. So does she have money? Does the family have money? Well, the answer is yes, right? And it's quite obvious that, I don't know, she could have pissed somebody off and they're just getting her back. I don't know. $8 million, Michelle? That's what you said? Let me make sure we get to the live chat. Yep, $8 million. Base and Jordan said he better be off just talking from the heart, right? People use that teleprompters or pre-type messages come across as authentic. Yeah, you know, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It'd probably just be hard to even say anything, right? Especially in that situation. And if you're recording it to put a video out, you want to make sure that you say everything that you can. She is how old? We're talking about Savannah or the mother? The mother is 84 years old, but Savannah, let's see. So Savannah is 54 years old, right? But I'm just really curious. Are we dealing with some professionals? I know earlier today the Sheriff Nanos came out and basically shat on Ashley Banfield's report from last night, saying that nothing is correct. They don't have a suspect, no person of interest at this time. And he also even stated, like, I have no idea where this information is coming from, which I'd never understood why you got to shit on it. But maybe that was just a tactic to just throw people off, right? To just make sure that they don't have an actual person of interest when they really do. I don't know. Brian Enton put out a video. Well, there's a few videos that we're going to watch, right? Because there's some good interviews that came out. There's an interview with one of the neighbors. There's an interview with the Sheriff Nanos. So we're just going to watch that. I'm going to probably play the videos through without interrupting unless something really comes up that we haven't discussed, right? But again, here's our guy. We're going to give him the fail of the day. Our guy Derek gets the fail of the day, you guys. All right, so here's his first video from Brian Enton. This video came out probably about an hour ago. It's about 28 minutes. We're gonna watch it.
Checking out my show. I really appreciate it. Please click to subscribe. Appreciate all of your support. I am still in Tucson, obviously, outside Nancy Guthrie's house. She is still missing, unfortunately.
Good night, Sid. Thank you for hanging out.
So much
Congrats,
more today. There was this update from the sheriff and the FBI, and I didn't think we were going to get very many new details, but we actually ended up getting
a good question, Nebby. I have no idea how old he is.
Everything new with you guys in a second. One of the biggest things was we learned more about these ransom letters. We learned that they're
no pacemaker, but might be incontinent.
Were deadlines in the ransom letters, two, one of which was 5 p.m. today, according to the FBI, which would have been 45 minutes ago local time when I'm shooting this video right now. And right around the time of the first deadline, 5 p.m., Nancy Guthrie's son, Cameron, posted a new video to Savannah Guthrie's Instagram with a message to the potential captors of Nancy Guthrie. So I want to play that video for you.
This is Cameron Guthrie. I'm speaking for the Guthrie family. Whoever is out there holding our mother, we want to hear from you. We haven't heard anything directly. We need you to reach out, and we need a way to communicate with you so we can move forward. But first, we have to know that you have our mom. We want to talk to you, and we are waiting for contact.
Obviously, just heartbreaking what that family is going through, and I'm going to get to the latest details on the ransom letters in a second and everything that I've learned about the ransom letters. But first, I want to go through a new timeline that authorities released, a timeline around the time that Nancy Guthrie went missing. And let me just go through this with you. January 31st, which would have been Saturday, 5:32 p.m., Nancy travels to local family's home, who we presume is, sorry, people just went running by. I just want to make sure. Sorry, try to keep an eye on everything outside the house. The timeline starts on January 31st, which would have been Saturday. Nancy travels to local family's home, who we believe is Annie Guthrie, Nancy's daughter. And we found out today through the sheriff that she actually took an Uber, and they've already interviewed that Uber driver. So she Ubered here from her house to her daughter Annie's house, which is just about 10 minutes away. It's not very far at all. So she goes there at 5:32. At 9:48, the family drops Nancy off at home, and the garage door opens. So she comes back here to the house, and then at 9:50, the garage door closes. And I'm assuming she has a smart garage door. That must be how they got the exact times on that. So now fast forward to February 1st, which should have been Sunday early in the morning, 1:47 a.m., the doorbell camera disconnects. 2:12 a.m., software detects person on camera, but no video available, no subscription. So the way the sheriff explained it is the camera detected someone on it, and that was recorded, and they were able.
That's a good question, Ramona, right? Why would they leave her all alone? I guess she lived alone, right? And we know that Tommaso and Annie, they bought a house 10 minutes away. They even told us how much it cost. It was like $650,000. So, I guess it was probably normal for her to just live on her own, right? But we got to keep in mind that she is not very mobile, right? She can't walk more than 50 yards.
To find that log, but because there was no subscription service for the doorbell cameras, they didn't record to a cloud. So there's no video of the person who came to the house and apparently disconnected the camera. So 2:12 a.m. software detects person on camera. 2:28 a.m. pacemaker app shows disconnect from iPhone. So at 2:28 a.m. is when her pacemaker got too far away from the iPhone to remain connected. So that's apparently the time that she was abducted or left the house. 11.
Cozy, Gigi, you think there's something going on behind the scenes? And if so, what do you think it is?
11:56 a.m. the family checks on Nancy. 12:03 p.m. 911 call. There's a 911 call to the sheriff's office, and then at 12:15.
And you know what, Nebby, that's true, because I've seen people use that little flipper device, and they just knock everything out. The Wi-Fi, the cameras, they can do they can even open your garage doors, and all they need to do is just be close by to catch that signal, and then that flipper device will line up with yours. And they can just open it.
p.m. The patrol arrives. So that's the latest timeline. Let me go through everything else. I took some notes here of what happened in the press conference. So the blood on the porch, you guys remember we showed you the video of the blood on the porch right by the front door. That blood was tested according to the sheriff and came back connected to Nancy Guthrie. I asked if there was more blood in the house, and the sheriff said they continued to wait on test results from everything that was inside the house.
I really hope
so. At this time, they have not identified a suspect or person of interest in the Nancy Guthrie case. He said, "We're just
they are not dealing with some Temu. It's not a Temu ransom, you guys. I think whoever did this, they're professionals.
Not there. We're not there yet." And then at another point during the press conference said that basically everybody is a suspect right now. And gave examples, just like we're looking at everybody right now. We're not ruling anything out. Sheriff says that they won't discuss whether there was forced entry into the house, and there were some reports earlier, remember, about forced entry, but he didn't want to discuss that today. The FBI has now announced a $50,000 reward in the Nancy Guthrie case.
$50,000, you
The
guys.
FBI says that they're taking the ransom letter seriously, and that any action based on the ransom letter.
You know, Gigi, if there really is something going on behind the scenes between the son-in-law and the daughter, shame on the daughter for having the balls to sit in front of that camera and read that letter, right? Shame on her if that's true.
Will be decided by the family. So in terms of whether to pay the ransom, whether to get in touch with the alleged abductors, the family's going to have to decide that. They actually made one arrest for an imposter. Someone else was demanding ransom, and it was just a fake case, some jerk trying to take advantage of the family out of that person's in Los Angeles.
Hey,
they made an arrest.
Thank you so much for that.
Federal...
Coco Mom, thank you so much. We've got to pause and thank Coco Mom for a $10 donation on Cash App. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. You're a huge supporter of the channel, and I really, really, really appreciate that. And if there are any ways that you guys want to support the channel, you guys like what I do, I do apologize that they are a little late, you guys. I do work a job, you guys. I do work a 9 to 5, and I can't really stream when everybody else is streaming. So, but if you guys do like the content, there are many ways to support the channel. Jad, I'm sure she'll put something down in the chat. And if you guys feel like you guys want to, no pressure. Look, I do this to hang out with all of you guys, right? So we're gonna just chill. We're gonna have some fun.
Federal charges. And in terms of the ransom letters, so there were 3 that I know of. One went to TMZ, and then 2 went to local TV stations here. And in terms of what's in the letters, we learned that there was a couple of things, what the FBI called facts. Something to do with Nancy Guthrie's iWatch, and then something to do with a floodlight on the house. The question is, though, did they just find these things out after the fact by watching the news and social media? I asked the FBI special agent in charge about that. When did the first ransom note arrive? And the reason I ask is because the Apple Watch has been in the news and on social media, and you could see like floodlights on video. So was it before those things were out in the world?
I don't have the specific time frame as I sit here today of what time it came in, but that you are right. Anyone could see a floodlight hanging down, could have seen some of those things. The watch has been talked about, so that timing is
Miss Dizzo.
Tricky, but that's why we're taking it serious no matter what, and following the leads on that.
Also kind of interesting, the sheriff was later on News Nation and said that he didn't even know about that video that Savannah Guthrie made yesterday until his wife told him about it, which I thought was kind of interesting that he wasn't in the loop on that, because the FBI made very clear that they were in the loop, that they were actually at the house helping to film the video and giving suggestions to Savannah and her family about what they should say. So it's kind of interesting. It seems like the FBI is taking more hold of the investigation. I asked about that specifically at the press conference, and the sheriff said, "Oh, no, we're all working together." But it just stood out to me that the sheriff has now said that
Valerie, welcome.
Savannah Guthrie made a video until after the fact. I'm joined now by Maureen O'Connell, a retired FBI agent.
That's right, Jazzy. Flo works crazy hard, full-time job, streamer job, does hours upon hours of research, always helping other creators out. I appreciate that, Jazzy. Thank you so much. But yeah, you are right. We do a ton of work. We do a ton of work here, and for a lot of other channels too. So, you know, we do what we got to do. We got to give everybody content, right?
Who we've been talking to pretty much every day as things have developed, and there's been a lot more developments today just within the last couple of hours. First of all, I want to start with the ransom notes, Maureen, because we've learned a lot more. And everybody's focusing on these deadlines. The special agent said that there was a 5 p.m. deadline today, and then said that there was a deadline on Monday. So I guess there's 2 deadlines. What do you think that means?
And these deadlines are set by the author of the ransom note, correct?
That's right. That's right. They're in the, from what I understand, they're in the note.
All right, that's weird. It's weird to have 2 deadlines, because the whole purpose of a deadline is to have one date when it must be done. However, I think people understand how difficult
You know what?
it is.
That's right. That's right. They gave They gave the family 2 deadlines. Like, are they partially serious, or are they trying to get things done? Right? They're giving the family a chance. That's pretty crazy.
Your hands on a whole bunch of money, especially if you're talking millions of dollars in crypto, and people don't always know, and just for those that don't know, crypto is just the umbrella term for all this type of cryptocurrency, which would include Bitcoin, which is what they were asking for. I thought it was very strange also, but I guess maybe they were waiting for them to come out and say today, hey, we're willing to talk to you and everything, like they said last night, but we need more information. It sounded like the family wanted to open the lines of communication, but I thought a better job could have been done today with them trying to open those lines of communication, because I think they're really trying to find out who this person is. And I'm a little bit surprised that they don't already know who the sender is. I know they're trying to run this to ground. They should be able to get the IP address. They should be able to identify the wallet, the Bitcoin wallet. But after that, it can get a little bit dicey and it can become difficult. I wish we had Jeff on, but I actually talked to Jeff this morning. So I thought, I don't know, there's something weird about this. There's something weird, almost inauthentic about this whole line of inquiry.
Thank you so much, Jenny Tab. Thank you.
I got more questions than answers, and I've got some ideas, but I'm not gonna say anything yet.
No, I understand. I'm a little skeptical of and it seems like the FBI is too, of the ransom notes. They reference a Apple Watch and they reference a floodlight on the house. And I asked the question in the press conference, well, when exactly did they receive the ransom note? Because I think that's important, because we've been talking about the Apple Watch on TV since almost the beginning, and we've been.
And who was that? Michelle that said that? I've never seen a live ransom, right? Lots of kidnappings, lots of true crime, but never a ransom situation. I don't even know when when was the last ransom that we've seen? Was it JonBenet Ramsey? That was in the early 90s, right? I mean, there could have been one that was more recent, but one in modern day, I mean, definitely not since I've started streaming, which it hasn't been that long. But yeah, I think it's pretty crazy. And me too, Gigi. I really do hope that she is safe and that she is alive, because we do know that she hasn't had her medication. And if those medications are life-saving, she's really going to need them, right? Her pacemaker, she has a pacemaker. That means her heart is not the strongest. And obviously if it, if her heart kind of slows down, that pacemaker is there to kind of kick in, set a little electrical wave to kind of remind it to beat at a steady pace, right? And so I don't think that her pacemaker is going to fail on her. What I'm more concerned about is the blood clots that she could potentially develop, which could later on cause a stroke or a heart attack, right? That's what I'm more concerned about.
Showing every angle of the house since almost the beginning, where you could have seen a floodlight. So how do we know that this person who wrote the note didn't just, gather this info from TV or social media?
Me too.
Exactly. And any kidnap that we've worked, we get the ransom note almost contemporaneous to the crime. That's a good indicator. A ransom note contemporaneous with the crime, with information not known to other people. That's what we're looking for. It almost seems as if this is an afterthought. Like, I thought, a lot of these were going to be hoax ransom letters. And it looks like they arrested one guy today who did put up a hoax ransom letter. And so he's always in a world of hurt that he doesn't even realize yet. He's going away.
And he's from LA.
Going away.
He's from near you, this guy.
Shocker.
Yeah. The video and I don't think I've spoken to you since the video came out, and it's so heart-wrenching. I mean, I've been on the ground here so focused on every little piece of the investigation that sometimes I lose track of the emotional part of it. And then when I saw Savannah's video, it just all hit home again, of just how sad this is for her and her family. And I again think about my mom, and it's awful to watch. And the FBI said it confirmed today that they were there with them when they made the video and that they offered suggestions.
That explains
If
the
they
ring camera. Yep.
right,
Or
seeing
the
them
ring
bring the
light.
ring camera, right, exactly, the ring light. But if they thought that this was just a bogus ransom note and they actually had other avenues that they were pursuing, would they have really put the family through all of that?
Well, you don't know if it's bogus until you get to the other side of the road, until you get all the way down the road, to be honest, until you run it to ground. Putting the family through that, if
You think so, Basin? You think
the
it's an
goal is
inside
to
job?
draw someone
And now they
out,
got this
then
dude
yes, it's
squatting down
worth
for
it.
nothing?
Is it hard? Yes, it's all hard. Law enforcement is hard.
Mac Dizzle, which one? This one? That one's funny, huh?
And it's messy, and it's it's not just like a nice clean path that you can skip down. There's a lot of twists and turns, and you got to go with them, and you got to pivot all the time, and it's oftentimes very uncomfortable, but you know what you have to do, and you got to get her done, as we say.
Get her done.
So I'm not saying that they think it's a hoax, and I know that I could tell by watching Savannah.
Hopefully they took her pills that were set out for the week. I don't think so. Didn't they say that her meds were left behind? Let's see. No, they didn't say, huh? I thought they mentioned it.
Responses anyone would have to someone that they really,
Norma,
really loved a lot.
what's going on? How's it going?
It broke my heart to watch her. Her brother seemed very stoic, but very upset. It's just,
yeah, it's been 5 days already, right?
But it's why we do this work. This is very important work. And by us, I mean law enforcement, even though I'm out of law enforcement. It's why law enforcement is so motivated to do this type of work.
The other thing about Savannah is she's very, very smart. She's a lawyer. She's, at the highest level of her career. She works for Court TV. She's covered a ton of criminal cases. So I don't think she would have gone out there and put herself out there like that. And she obviously saw reporting about other theories. I don't think she would have put herself out there like that if she didn't believe that there was a chance that this letter is real.
I agree with you, Peekaboo.
I would agree with you.
Soul Power says, important. I feel like she knows the person who took her. That is really horrible. If she actually knows who it is. I could just imagine if she was truly kidnapped by some random people that she didn't know. Just imagine the conditions that she's been living through for the past 5 days, right? I really just hope that they gave her a place to sleep, right? That she at least had a bed to sleep in while she was away. Can you imagine just the conditions that she's probably been through the past 5 days?
The thing I want to talk about, though, is the Apple Watch and stuff, and the heart monitor or the pacemaker. I mean, honestly, if my mom's 85 years old, and I can tell you that Savannah, just seeing her with her mom, with the photos, she's the only sibling we have, video of interacting with the mom. And to see her with the mom like that, I know that she loves her mom the way I loved mine. And so her mom's 84 years old. She lives alone. She's got a pacemaker, and she has the Apple Watch. And I think she's got the Apple Watch because that Apple Watch will give alerts if she falls and doesn't continue to move, or if she has a heart attack. Or
did she say that she thinks that she has the Apple Watch with her? Because I think it's already been mentioned that she doesn't, right? And so for those of you guys that don't know exactly what a pacemaker is or what it actually does, it's basically just like a small battery powered device that's really implanted under the skin, right? And it's usually placed right next to the collarbone. And what it does is it basically acts as like an electrical system for the heart, right? And its main functions or responsibilities is to monitor the heart rhythm. And what it does is it really just kind of keeps an eye on how fast or how slow the heart beats. And if it beats too slow, right, there's a term that we use in nursing. It's called bradycardia. and that's when you have a slow heart rhythm. And if it misses a beat, basically what it does is it just kind of sends like this electrical pulse, right? That tells the heart, gotta keep up, gotta keep up, gotta keep up, right? And it keeps it at like a healthy rhythm. So that's basically the whole point of it, right? And then the whole critical part about the medications that she's on, right? We don't know exactly what medications they're talking about, but in this instance, when they use the term life sustaining, right, or it could be life threatening if she doesn't have them, I'm under the impression that they're anticoagulants, right? And the reason why I say that is because medications like anticoagulants are normally given to people who have this condition called atrial fibrillation. And atrial fibrillation is basically like when your heart kind of beats irregularly and you kind of have like this rapid heart rate. And so basically what happens is the anticoagulant medications, and my wild guess is just going to say that she's probably on warfarin or Coumadin, or maybe something like Eliquis. I don't know. There's a ton of different medications that she could be on, right? But these are medications that help prevent the blood from clotting, and ultimately medications like Eliquis, warfarin. God, there's another one that we used to give. I think they discontinued it. It was like the bigatranitexolate, right? All my nurses in the chat, which one is that one? Pradaxa. It was called Pradaxa. That's what it was called. And that medication basically just helps the blood from, or prevents the blood from clotting, and basically makes it thin. Ultimately, puts the person at risk of bleeding. And so we know that, when we saw the blood on the floor, right outside of the house, it was kind of concerning, because if she is on blood thinners, who knows if the bleeding was difficult to stop.
Or something along those lines. There's a whole layered approach to people getting notifications off of their pacemaker. And it's everything from an app that you get with the actual device that the healthcare provider can monitor. It's also you can set up alerts to family members, which I would be blown away if they didn't have that set up. And who would that likely be? Who lives closest? Which one of the siblings lives closest?
I mean, that's all. That's pretty much the only, professional reference that I can give you. Because yes, I am a nurse, right? I'm not a detective. I am a nurse who enjoys just, talking to you guys about this stuff and giving you guys your latest updates. Coco Mom, I do see in the chat that you said that you're on Coumadin. Now I do want to ask you, with your Coumadin, do you have to, how often, do you have to get labs? Because as a nurse, we know that if you're on Coumadin, right, the pharmacy basically doses your medication off of your labs, right? So they can't just give you a standard dose of Coumadin for 30 days. You normally have to go get labs, and the lab that they draw is your PT-INR, right? Your international ratio. And basically they dose your Coumadin based off of your labs, right? So even if they wanted to, they couldn't just pick up Coumadin, off of the streets or at a pharmacy, because it would be based off of your lab values.
To the mom. Is it Annie?
Annie, for sure. Yeah, Annie. She lives right down this 10 minutes away.
All right. So why were we not notified? Why was Annie not notified, or was she notified? I don't know, and she missed it, or who knows what. But why was Annie not notified, or why did she not ring the bell until afternoon the following day, if in fact she was notified?
Shout out to all the nurses in the chat. Okay. All right. Where are my nurses at? Shout outs to y'all, saving the days, saving lives.
So you're saying you're surprised that she didn't have it set up on her phone, that if something went weird with the pacemaker, that it wouldn't have alerted her too? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying it should have alerted her. I mean, what good would it do to alert Savannah? Living in
I mean, if you think about it though, right? I kind of have to disagree with this girl right here, because I mean, how many of you guys in the chat wear your Apple Watch to sleep, right? I mean, I have an Apple Watch and I definitely do not, I barely even wear it now, right? But let alone wear it to sleep. I don't know. I mean, in the middle of the night, that Apple Watch would be on the charger ready for the next day.
New York.
Yeah.
Okay,
don't know.
so Redondo said, I do. Michelle said, not me. So I'm curious, how many other people? Might have to just put a poll up. Do you sleep with your Apple Watch or smartwatch device? I'm curious. Let's see what you guys say. I'm curious.
Maybe I would have 2 or 3 of us on there if it were my mom.
Yeah, it's a good point. We also learned that when she went over to the house for dinner on Saturday
Basin Jordan
night,
said he got a fake
she
Rolex,
Ubered
y'all.
there, which was a new detail.
Yeah.
And then was driven
Fake
home
Rolex
by,
alert.
there's been conflicting reporting if it was by Annie or by the husband or by both of them.
It seems
Something
weird
else,
that they haven't even mentioned the brother-in-law in anything. I mean,
right.
just the fact that he's not mentioned at all, to me, is very interesting.
See, and I'm really horrible at it too. Look, I'm currently looking at my Apple Watch charger, and it's not even on the charger. And I can tell you today that I didn't even wear my watch to work today, so I don't even know where my watch is at. I really don't. Yeah, Basin Jordan got the Folex, huh? Nah, Basin Jordan got a real one. I know he does.
Well, and the question came up at the press conference, and they said there are no suspects, there are no persons of interest, and then at one point the sheriff said something.
That's a great point because who said that? Peekaboo said all of us with sleep issues do, and then Soul Power Tarot said, I mean, people who have sleep apnea or other sleep issues may wear an Apple Watch while they sleep. And I want to say it was just recently that Apple really released, any kind of metrics that can monitor your sleep. I know that was one of the bigger things that they weren't able to do with the earlier versions of the Apple Watch. But now comparing this to Nancy, the Apple Watch can actually monitor your heart through your pacemaker. So that's pretty awesome how far technology has become. Because I remember last night we were talking about it, and we were mentioning that back in the days when we would used to check patients who had pacemakers, there used to be like this little telephone type of device where you'd kind of take the receiver of the phone and you'd place it onto the chest, and that device would transmit data through it, and that data would be sent directly to your doctor, and then your doctor would get a hold of you if there was anything wrong. I know it's kind of old school technology, but that's what we used to do, right? When we used to monitor and check up on the patient's pacemakers.
Like everybody's a suspect right now. We're looking at everybody. They didn't want to single anybody out, which I can understand, obviously. I mean, is it possible that they've got 3 or 4 theories that they're working and that they don't know which one is the best one yet?
It's absolutely probable. You're going to have a bunch. You're going to have investigators on your squad that are really tied in. Like I'm tied into what I believe happened, but I'm not going to go there yet. And then I talked to about, I want to say 10 of my former colleagues before, a couple of them who worked multiple kidnappings. And
oh, that's true. I mean, people now wear the Aura ring for sleep, right? Because it supposedly measures your sleep quality really well. I can't afford one, but sounds nice.
Some of them agree with me, some of them don't. And we've gone over all the reasons why. I just got a text from one of those people who said, I think you have me convinced right now. So we're going through the motions, and it's just like being in the squad bay. So in the squad bay, we all have these different.
Nebby said that they have smart rings that go for 30 days between charging nowadays. Just saying that. I promise I don't earn $8 million per year. I don't know, Nebby. I don't know. If you want to donate a ring over here, we'll gladly accept it. And Basin Jordan says, I wear a tinfoil hat. All right, you got to make sure you get that connection at night, right?
theories, and we have to present our case to each other. We don't have to, but we do. It's what we do. It's our culture. And our friends try to shred us, almost like you're on the stand. Well, I would agree with this, but not with that. And just how
Melon 3875. Just thank you for your $5 super chat. Says, I see you down at the rabbit hole chat all the time, and you are definitely hardworking. Keep up the good work, and your channel will get there. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much, and thank you for noticing. Right, it really is just about getting the right information out there, and I'm a small creator, right? So if I can help any of the big creators just kind of get the word out there, maybe as quick as possible, then, by all means, so be it. Right. But thank you for noticing. I do appreciate it. Thank you so much.
sometimes people talk on here. Like you saw that between Jeff and I
Yeah.
the other day.
Tambo's in the house.
And when you're spirited and you have big
Shout out to Tambo.
personalities and people are smart, it can get dicey and you have to have thick skin, but that's the way it is. There was the other things that really got me thinking.
Whoa. Really quick, we have Coco Mom that just donated 5 gifted memberships. So if you received the gifted membership, please make sure you thank Coco Mom. Coco Mom is a big supporter of the channel. Shout out to you, Coco Mom. I really appreciate your support for the channel. It doesn't go unnoticed, and we love having you here, and we love your participation in the chat. So please enjoy. Thank you so much. So shout out to you. Who received it? Gigi's, Pink Feather, La Camillion, Sister Celestial. Ooh, Celestial. All right, and Chad's wife. So if you received the gifted membership, please make sure you thank Coco Mom.
While I was watching that presser, there were things on that timeline before that have now been removed from the timeline. That to me is a very important data point.
Like what?
Like before, didn't they have the exact time that the family members, quote unquote, air quotes, I mean, that the family members dropped off Nancy at the house at like 9:35 or something?
Well, let me pull up the timeline. So maybe what they had today was that Nancy travels to local family's home at 5:32, which would have been the Uber. And then 9:48, family drops off Nancy at home and garage door opens.
Wait, hold on. Did they say Uber? She took an Uber?
I think they could have 48 travels to local family's home at 5:32.
Wait.
Air quotes, I mean.
Sorry, you guys.
That the family members dropped off Nancy at the house at like 9:35 or something?
Well, let me pull up the timeline. So maybe what they had today was that Nancy travels to local family's home at 5:32, which would have been the Uber.
Okay, so he did say an Uber. So she did take an Uber. Okay, that I didn't catch.
And then 9:48, family drops off Nancy.
And we love all of those creators, Gigi. Shout out to Rabbit from Down the Rabbit Hole, and True Crimes with Strategic Eyes. Shout out to both of them, right? Yeah, I'm definitely a big fan of all of their work too.
See at home and garage door opens. I think they could actually, I guess it must be like a smart garage door. So 9:48, they know that the family dropped Nancy off and the garage door opened, and then at 9:50, the garage door closed. Is that different than something we had before?
That makes me wonder if the person that abducted her was already there at the house, right? And because Nebby brought up the whole flipper thing, right? That person could have very well already been at that house by the time that she got home.
I'm thinking of the timeline that they had with the little squares and those little square bubbles. So I don't think I took a photo of it because I was on the run when that happened, but I thought that was different.
Yeah, it could be. The thing that got me on this new timeline is on Sunday morning, 2:12, software detects person on camera, but no video available. So there was like a Google, some kind of.
I agree with you, Redondo. I think Ashley Banfield is going to be right. Like Maureen said, they have not mentioned their brother-in-law at all, which makes it very odd, right? obviously he wasn't there when the video was shot, right? When they were referring to the ransom and pleading for the mom to come home. I'm very curious to know like what's going to happen. You know, who is going to be the POI, that person of interest?
The Google camera that detected a person on the camera, but then there's no video.
No, not only, right, Redondo, not only did law enforcement not mention him, they also said that, you know, he might even be a victim, right? So I don't know. What do you guys think about that comment? Because that comment threw me when I heard him say that. I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Right? At first, he said everybody's a potential suspect, but then they were talking about, you know, everybody could be. He might be a victim. Who
Which
knows?
because there, I guess, no subscription, so maybe they didn't pay to have the video stored on the cloud. I
What
think
did I
it's
tell you? What did I tell you about people getting their cameras and then not having subscriptions, not paying for the service, not getting alerts on their phone? What they probably got was a text saying person identified or whatever. Now, if you don't have a subscription, it will usually film it, but it won't last. You can go right in right afterwards and download it if you wanted, but if you don't do that, it goes away.
okay.
So
So that's
everybody get their
why
subscriptions up and running.
it's worth paying the $10 a year or whatever it is to. Then they
That's a
would have
little
had
more than
video. It sounds
$10 a
like.
year. It's probably going to be like 100 plus, right?
I asked. You were texting me during the
Ask
press.
yourself who would know that.
I asked. Yeah,
Ooh.
I asked you. You were like, ask them
Here,
about.
so here, let me take us to that point during the hold on. Where to go? Hold on. Let's get that transcript. I want to say it was right here.
Don't have enough to say, this is our suspect, this is our guy, we know, or our gal. We just don't know that. And it's really kind of reckless to report that someone is a suspect when they could very well be a victim. It just, I bring to you,
Wow.
to the media, I plead with you to be careful of what it is we put out there, because we don't have anybody here listed as a suspect, and you could actually be doing some damage to the case, but you can do some damage to that individual too.
I don't know. What do you guys think of that comment?
If there was any cleanup inside the house? And
Exactly, right, Jazzy?
and
Is he missing too?
he wouldn't say. He wouldn't say what they found inside the house, but he did confirm that the blood on the front step did DNA. They tested it, and it did trace back to
Nancy.
Nancy. Yeah.
Yeah. My guess is if there's blood outside, there's gonna be blood inside.
Mm.
You know.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So when oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Like a million. It was Coco Mom who donated the gifted membership. So please make sure you thank Coco Mom.
If we think about motive, like, let's just talk.
But welcome to the inner circle, y'all. You know, it's really nice though. As I'm looking at the chats right now, there are just a ton of you guys that are all green. And that means a lot. That's crazy. It's like a whole wall of green members who are participating in the chat. So I do appreciate that. And those of you guys that don't have green, if you guys want to consider becoming a member, we have affordable tiers. They're only 99 cents, you guys. But no pressure, no pressure. I enjoy your guys' company, whether or not you're a member. So as long as you guys participate in the chat, that's what I'm all about, right? Back to the show.
For a second about what motives could there be? Money, because it's always about the Benjamins, right? 99 times out of 100.
All about
Sex.
the Benjamins. Did she just say that?
I pray to God that's off the table. Or what are the common motives?
Yeah, I mean, money would come to mind for me.
Money, right? I mean, we just talked about it. Savannah Guthrie, she makes $8 million a year. She's got a net worth of about $40 to $50 million. Why would it not be about money?
You know, I guess like an anger, a vendetta, like someone pissed you off so bad that you want to kill them.
Yep. Or maybe some kind of love triangle, you know?
Yeah. Right. Love. Yep.
I don't think that's what we're looking at either. So we're down to pretty much, hopefully, just money.
When you think about money, the question came up to the FBI today: is this connected back to Savannah Guthrie being a Someone's just come to the house. Is this connected back to Savannah Guthrie being a celebrity? And the FBI said no, we have no evidence
I
of
think it
that.
might be Michelle.
But then why would this person randomly kidnap an 84-year-old woman and then ask for a ransom? Like, if it's not, a woman connected to a really rich person. I didn't
If those
follow
two
that.
events are connected, is
Yeah.
the ransom letter really connected to this incident? I
Yeah.
mean, that's
Let me ask you guys. Well, we took a poll last night, and it was 51% said yes, the ransom was real. 49% said no, the ransom is not real. Right? And you guys were really basically split down the middle. But what really got me was that they were able to identify in the ransom that the cameras had been smashed or removed. I can't remember which one. And they were able to identify like broken items in the house. And they were able to identify what she was wearing. So, I mean, would a random ransom that's not connected to this at all know all of this information?
always the question we have when we have these kidnap situations. We always expect a flurry of activity. Now the Bureau put out a $50,000 ransom today, and that's going to create a
reward, not a
purge of
ransom, you
information.
guys.
I mean, people are going to be calling, texting, all the tips and leads are going to be going in the FBI's website, the sheriff's website. Everything's going to blow up. So before they do that, they have to backfill these systems with analysts and law enforcement officers to go through these calls.
Okay,
these tips and
Chloe,
leads.
thank you so much. Maureen, she's retired FBI. Okay, puts a lot of things into perspective, right?
And the billboards too. The FBI is going to do billboards in Arizona
Hi,
and surrounding
605,
states.
605, welcome.
Would they ever go to that length to try to throw someone off
It's
who
the
they
moolah.
already are zeroing in on?
I would, if it were my case.
You would.
Yeah, but I'm an out of the box thinker.
Cindy from sunny South Florida says, I don't know if the ransom is real. No one knows what she was wearing per the LE. I mean, what about the son-in-law and the daughter? They don't know? Do they not remember?
But I mean, when you were there, would that be, again, I just go back to the family. Are you putting them through the ringer by doing that? I mean, making them think that it's real,
Or are you
nothing.
keeping them busy while they're waiting
Right?
for their family member?
I don't think so.
I mean, is it mean or is it? I mean, you got to go through a lot of these motions, no matter.
Jazzy with the member for 1 month. 1 month with the inner circle. Thank you for the wonderful vibes and the open mindedness. Flo, you are a true king. Stop it. That's so nice of you. Thank you for your member chat. Thank you.
No matter what our thoughts are, we don't make major decisions just on our gut. We listen to our gut and we trust our gut to a certain extent, but we have to follow things up with evidence. We have to go wherever the evidence leads us.
Yeah.
And that's,
Do you think we're going to see a conclusion to this soon? Or do you think what's your gut tell you?
Jazzy. Okay, Jazzy over here gifting out memberships. Shout out to Jazzy who got that membership. RGC 2015. You were just gifted a membership from Jazzy Jazz Jess. Make sure you say thank you to her in the chat. Thank you, Jazzy. I appreciate you.
You think this is going to drag on for a while?
I thought it would be over by today.
I thought so too. I thought that the press conference, they were really going to come out and they were going to say something. But really, I don't think they gave us anything new, right? They basically shat on Ashley Banfield and they basically said, no, we don't have a suspect. She's still missing. Pretty much, right? And maybe a few details about the timeline. Other than that, there was nothing. I'm not going to say nothing helpful, right? Because anything that they give us, we're going to take. right? But there was nothing really new.
So we've got this deadline tonight at 5, which is what time is it now? 4?
Yeah, when
Jazzy.
we're doing this, we're 15
Have a good
minutes
night,
from the
Jazzy.
deadline
Thank you so much.
from Wendy.
Okay.
Get some
All right.
rest.
So, I mean, Monday by 5, we should know something.
It's been reported that the sheriff found out about the Instagram video, but his wife saw it. I mean, he wasn't in the loop apparently. Do you think the FBI is now just sort of taking over this whole thing? Because that's what it seems like to me.
No, I think they're definitely a team. I think a lot of the people that work for this sheriff are 100% in the loop. I find it absolutely shocking that he did not know, since you knew. You saw them walk in with that ring light. You saw them walk in, 2 agents or whoever, the ICAC team, I guess. So that to me is very strange. Maybe they sent him an email and he's been getting so many emails it got lost in there. But he should be getting briefing. Whenever you do any type of an investigation like this, you have a whole command center, and in the command center, you make up the mind at the beginning of the case. You say every 12 hours or every 4 hours or every 6 hours, we're going to do an internal briefing where we talk about everything that's happening and the course of action that we're about to take. And in each of those instances, on each for every, let's say from the beginning, the sheriff gives it to his captain or his lieutenant to run the whole thing, right? So that captain is the on-scene commander. That on-scene commander remains that way until he turns the baton over to the next person for the night shift, or what if they're doing 3 shifts, I don't know, probably just 2. And then but the chief should be getting a briefing every 24 hours at the very least. In a case like this, I would guess it would be more like every 6 hours, or getting emails to keep him apprised of what's happening. For him not to know this, I just can't imagine. I don't know.
That's a good point.
How that could have fallen through the cracks. I don't know.
She looks like a tough cookie. She does.
Do his guys not like him? Or maybe he's one of those bosses like Jeff and I were talking about, that they're, I don't know. I don't think he's very organized. He doesn't appear to me to be very, very organized. And I'm always sticking up for the law enforcement, but that guy, I don't understand what's going on with that guy.
As always, I really appreciate Maureen for talking with me. I think I pretty much covered all
right, Basin. This is where you get to see his little squatty potty.
We'll see what pans out over the next couple of days. I mean, there was obviously the deadline, the alleged deadline that passed today at 5 p.m., but there's apparently another deadline on Monday. And that's if these ransom letters are even really legit. We still don't really know, but the FBI seems to be keeping an open mind about everything. So appreciate you guys for watching. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to stay here really just indefinitely to see how this whole thing works itself out. And I hope it does work itself out, because I know everybody following, including me, just wants to see Nancy Guthrie come home safely and be reunited with her family. So I'll keep you guys posted.
Shout out to Brian Enton. Yeah, he's really putting in work. See, I got to take this little setup, because we got this setup too, right? We might as well just start shooting on location. What do y'all think? Should we just start shooting on location? Doing live reports and stuff from the location? All right, let's see. So there's a few videos that came out as well. So we have one video to show, and this is a video on News Nation where a neighbor kind of recounts, his encounters with Nancy. Let's go ahead and check this out.
People could not be more upset, more surprised, more disturbed. And our organization, was immediately in touch with
Basin. I already got a squat chair. I got the same exact one that Brian probably has, but I'm ready. I'm ready to go squatting. I'm ready. We'll definitely be hitting the streets soon, so stay tuned.
Our constituents with an email blast asking them to cooperate and help get started on the ring camera search. And
she's out in LA, Chloe. Shit, I might have to give her a call. But like, yo, I got the scoop.
And actually to keep an eye out. A lot of people up here walk a lot in this
Right.
neighborhood, and so everybody, I believe, has been totally aware of this and kept their eyes out.
There were several reports. I know the sheriff said he was investigating that in the past month or two, people in that neighborhood had reported trespassers. Do you know anything about that?
I do not. I have not heard that.
Yeah, describe this neighborhood for people who haven't been there. I lived in Arizona. I know this neighborhood a little bit, but describe it because it's really special.
Yes, I would say it's really special. It's in the foot. It's about 2,700 feet altitude. It's right at the
Oh, she's got the
foothills of the
scoop on Nick
mountains,
Reiner.
Catalina Mountains, that go up to 10,000, near 10,000 feet. And it's there's a lot of space between the houses. It's not like other residential areas in other parts of the country, as you can see from your great aerial there. And people don't have normal yards. Very little grass, primarily saguaro, prickly pear.
Right, but because
Palo
of
Verde.
that,
Is Viking Woman in the chat? I don't know if she's still here, but I just want to say I did receive your message, your email, and I am looking over it right now. So thank you for that. It's pretty good stuff that you sent. Thank you.
because the houses are beautiful but spaced far apart, nobody seems to have heard or seen anything. Plus the fact that officials believe this happened in the middle of the night. I mean, it's dark and it's quiet there in the middle of the night.
This is correct.
I mean, it's crazy if I just kind of put myself in Savannah's shoes too, right? Yesterday, my grandmother just turned 100, and we celebrated her 100th birthday on Sunday, on the 1st, right? So when all of this was going down, literally, we found out about Nancy missing, and I could just imagine like how emotional I'd be, or how much of a wreck I would be if we found out that our 100-year-old grandmother was abducted from her home, right? My grandmother's got some of the same similar issues that she does, right? She's lack of mobility. So I can totally understand what this family might be going through. To have somebody, an elderly in your family come up missing because they were kidnapped.
I would like to add the one thing to that. It's dark because people here in this community in particular cherish the night sky.
Mm.
And we don't have streetlights, not because out of some fear, but we don't have streetlights because of wanting to have the night sky, and because astronomy is a really important part of our University of Arizona, and it hurts the telescopes if you have a lot of streetlights.
Did you know Nancy Guthrie or any members of the Guthrie family?
I did not know them, no, but Nancy's children went to all the same public schools my children went to. They're approximately the same age, but not quite the same class. So, they know who they are. They have friends who are friends.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our News Nation app right now on your phone.
Okay. All right, so we're going to put on another video from News Nation. This one has an interview with the sheriff, so Chris Nanos.
Take everything seriously. You're on something like this. It's like...
Hey, Tambo, you figured it out, but how do I get them permanently on my phone? Oh, unfortunately, you can only do it when you're in one of our lives, though. I wish you guys could use them everywhere. That'd be dope. But you can use them here. You can use them here as much as you want. Matter of fact, why don't you guys drop your favorite emoji in the chat? Let me know which one's your favorite.
Special Agent Yankee said, this is an 85-year-old mother, 85-year-old grandma.
84.
Who, in the middle of her night, while she's sleeping in her bedroom, she disappears. You just saw the video with the family. That's just heartbreaking. And I didn't even know that video was made. I believe my wife shared it with me on Facebook, and I probably, like all of you, saw it and thought, yeah, these people are hurting, and we just need mom back.
The first deadline for payment passed literally 4 minutes ago. What did the note threaten if payment was not received?
You know, I can't get into that because that note and the ransom was
But
all
was there
turned
a
over to
threat?
the FBI. I'm sorry?
Was there a threat?
And Melon, that's a great point, right? Brian Enton, last night when he was doing an interview, he was showing like how dark the area is. So you're right. Somebody who would have came around had to have known the layout of the neighborhood, unless they were just bringing a shit ton of flashlights, right? Is it true that there was a floodlight too that they removed? Did they remove the floodlight, or was it the floodlight that just went off?
I don't know. I can't speak to any of that. That is a part of the investigation that we've turned to the FBI. They have great expertise in dealing in these matters, and I would defer any comment on anything with the ransoms to them.
Can you tell me anything about the arrest today of a person who sent a fake ransom demand?
I know what you know, probably. You probably know more. I wasn't able to watch the.
So actually, Nancy Guthrie's birthday just took place on January 27th. So she just recently had her 84th birthday. Wow. That makes it, I don't know, to me, that just makes it even worse.
Their press release, but I would tell you this, repeating exactly what Special Agent Yonke said. If you're doing this, and we find you, you will be prosecuted. You will be held accountable. So please, for the safety of this lady, for the safety of her and the good of the community and her family, please knock that off. Don't be a knucklehead. Come on.
Yeah, it's amazing what people will do.
Oh, okay, so they did mention it.
You revealed today a detailed timeline of when Nancy got home Saturday night, which was around 10, shortly before 10 p.m., and then that the door camera was disconnected at 1:47
No problem,
a.m.,
Peekaboo, got you.
and that camera sensors, which were still working, detected someone or something moving in or near the house 15 minutes later. Is there no way to get video of whatever that sensor was picking up?
But we haven't given up. When we sent that device in, the company who did the analysis of that basically pulled up what it could, what they claimed that's all they could get. This device, think of your Ring camera, my Ring camera at home or whatever it is, you get some motion in front of it and it says there's a person detected. But there was no video of that. And we're not sure quite why. We understand there was no subscription services. We also believe that that system they had every 2 or 3 hours just is on a loop and it tapes over itself. But we've not given up. We'll take that and send it out to another company and hope for the best with it.
So you were still actively trying to figure out a way to recover the images that camera, that sensor might have detected. Can you confirm if other cameras were also disconnected in or near the home?
Hey, baby, welcome.
We can confirm that we do have possession of other cameras, and those are being analyzed as we speak. I'm not even sure we know exactly which camera it was that said person detected. But those things are in the works, and we hopefully we'll get something back here.
Imagine if Ashley Banfield said that the son-in-law is a person of interest, and here you have him still sitting around, still free, watching you film that plea video, right, that you put out on Instagram, knowing that he's a possible person of interest. That just doesn't sit well with me. And I get it, law enforcement has to do what they have to do to ensure that they cross their T's and dot their I's, but just imagine if he's just watching them film these videos, these little plea videos, right? You know, talking to the people who sent the ransom, knowing damn well that it was him. I don't
In the
know,
next few days.
allegedly.
You confirmed today that the blood on the front step is from Nancy. Sheriff, that seems to indicate she was hurt pretty badly.
You know, what I would say is this. We know it was blood, and we now know whose blood it was. But what we don't know is we don't know when that occurred. It could have been, I understand the thinking that, hey, she was hurt and from the night's
It's a good
events.
point, Redondo.
But we don't know. That blood could have been 2 hours before, could have been 2 days before. We just know it was blood.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe
Lord.
below and
Okay,
download.
Okay. Rabbit always be telling him to shut up. Shut up, Cuomo. Let's see, what else do we have? This one is... Okay, so this video right here on News Nation, this is a video with the news anchor from the news station that received the ransom. So here, let's check it out.
AOLD 13 News in Tucson, Arizona. Her station received the ransom note through an email that the FBI is now seriously investigating. Mary Coleman, it's great to have you here. So this it was emailed, like, was it to a tip line, or was it addressed to anybody in particular?
Yeah, so our newsroom has just that, a tip line that anyone can send.
Yeah, I'm very
email
interested to see
and
who it
that's
is.
how we received it. And something important to note, because I know a lot of people were saying, oh, how easy it should be to be able to trace it from an email address. Well, the way our system works is it can be submitted anonymously. So, and there's a reason for that. We want people to be comfortable, you know, submitting any news tips for any stories in the Tucson area. And
Now, I don't know if anybody heard this too, but I heard earlier this morning, like early in the morning, that the reason why the ransom letter was sent to TMZ was because the other two news stations decided to keep it private. And so they sent it to TMZ because they knew that they would broadcast it. And that had me thinking, you know, TMZ, right? They always got to be the first. And they knew that if, you know, they sent it to TMZ, that they'd broadcast it, and they did.
in this case, that's exactly what happened.
I mean, because if TMZ never would have said anything about that ransom note, we never would have found out about the two other stations that received it.
Submitted anonymously, and we gave everything over to
I hope
County
not,
Sheriff's
Nebby.
Department to try and figure out where
I really
exactly
hope they
this
don't
came
drag it
from.
out.
Did you actually read the entire note?
I did.
The FBI confirmed that there was a deadline of 5 p.m. Mountain Time tonight. What did the note threaten if payment wasn't made?
I can't speak to that. I will say that, you know, there obviously, it's a consequential letter. There are things that they say will happen if these deadlines aren't met. And I have been refreshing my email constantly over the last 41 minutes to see if we get anything new from them. Because again, as they said, that first deadline was at 5, and then we have another one coming up in a couple of days. So our eyes are on our email to see if we get anything new, as are, I'm sure, you know, some of the other newsrooms that received that letter as well.
How long was the note?
Not very long, Elizabeth, just a couple of sentences, I would say, you know, a short paragraph, but enough in there to alarm someone who is reading it, I would say, especially obviously with the circumstances. And now knowing and seeing that Pima County Sheriff's Department confirmed that the blood on the doorstep that you all just showed was indeed that of Nancy Guthrie.
Did you know, as soon as you read it, did you think this is for real?
Initially, I would say the first couple of sentences, not necessarily. It could have gone either way, but the more we read and the more detail was given, including the amount and...
I do remember seeing... Yeah, so Chloe said Ashley does know her source. And I think there was a video. I can't remember what video it was, but she said that her source at I think it was the Sheriff's Department. That source is a very impeccable source. So there's absolutely no reason why that source would not give her correct information. So I'm very curious. Who could it have been?
again, those deadlines, that's what was really crucial. And as well as some of those details that the FBI revealed were in there, including, you know, the Apple Watch and things like that,
That's
others
right, Goal.
wouldn't know.
Yeah, this coming Monday.
That's when we, you know,
was there
alarms
anything
started.
beside the Apple Watch and the floodlights? Because as you may know, if you've been listening in, our Brian Enton asked about this, and the FBI admitted they weren't sure when. First of all, do you remember exactly when the note came in?
We received the note
February
Monday
2nd.
evening. That's when our newsroom received that note.
Monday
So February
night,
2nd, you
Arizona
guys.
time.
Yeah.
You
So
got
I
that.
know that there were questions earlier in another live that initial that, and I think, you know, I said February 2nd, but the initial ransom note came in Monday evening. So that was February 2nd.
Note. We need to check other sources. I know that around that time there were also reports.
Redondo, yes, that is correct. Derek Colella is the person that you mentioned that was arrested. And we showed him earlier. So in case you guys missed it, this is the person that was arrested in Los Angeles earlier today. These are some of the photos that we were able to obtain. So this guy's from Los Angeles. And Redondo says he's from Torrance. He's from Torrance, but was arrested in Hawthorne. So, yeah, that's crazy. Guy looks a little weird, to be honest. Oh, no. I mean, he's going to do some crazy time because of it. Where were we? Right here.
Reports beginning to emerge that she was wearing an Apple Watch that had
Good
been
night, Basin.
disconnected.
Thank you for hanging out.
Also, anybody who was looking at sort of video.
Purdy,
that
Tambo. He's
all the
purdy.
news networks were taking
You think he's purdy?
Of Nancy Guthrie's home might have seen that there was
Have a good one,
floodlight.
Basin.
In other words, are those the only two details, or was there more?
There were some additional details included in there, and we're
Yeah,
gonna
some
wait
weird
to see
vibes,
if law
right?
enforcement
Guys, a little
decides
off.
to release that information. Frankly, we weren't sure that they were even going to release what they did today, so that's why we're speaking freely about it. We don't want to be compromising this investigation at all. Of course, the main concern is getting Nancy home, and we want to do what we can to help ensure that she gets home safely.
Was there any? We just watched a video that just came out a few minutes ago from Cameron Guthrie. And that came after the video 23 hours ago from Savannah.
That's the brother, right,
and
Cameron?
Guthrie speaking mostly. Her sister Annie said a few words, and Cameron was there as well. But in both the videos, last night's and tonight's, they make a direct plea. Tell us how to communicate with you. Was there any communication protocol in the ransom note that you read?
Nothing whatsoever, and I think that's why they're, you know, going so heavily in this direction to try and plead to anyone to get in contact with them so that they can, again, get that proof of life, but just establish that line of communication, because there isn't that right now between anyone. And you know, if these deadlines that they've been given are accurate, then I mean, time is of the essence, and they want their mother home safely.
And I'm assuming they made a demand for money or bitcoins. TMZ reported it was bitcoins, millions of dollars in bitcoins, to be deposited in a certain account.
Yeah, I can't share the information as far as how much or where they wanted that to be placed, but I can say, because today the FBI did confirm it was Bitcoin, our letter as well was a request for Bitcoin.
All right, Mary Coleman from the great Tucson station KOLD 13. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our News Nation app.
Shut up, Cuomo. Coco Mom, thank you very much. Have a good rest of your evening. Thank you for hanging out, and thank you so much for your donations and your gifted memberships, your 5 gifted memberships, and your Cash App donation. Appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's see, what else do we have? What else do we have?
Savannah
Okay, hold
Guthrie's
on.
80.
Lauren Conlin put out a video today. We'll just go ahead and play that. We're just catching up on all the news, you guys.
54-year-old mother, Nancy Guthrie,
Mavi,
is
welcome.
still missing. This
Mavi is from Sweden. What's up, Sweden? Can we see Brian and the FBI? Was it the one that we watched earlier? Hold on. Was it this one, Tambo? This is Maureen, the ex FBI. But I think we just watched it. Let's see what Lauren has to say.
This is so heartbreaking, so tragic, especially after the family filmed a video essentially begging for whoever to.
Tambo, email me the link if you can, yeah? If you know where it's at. I'll put my email in the chat. Send it over, send it over.
Bring their mother home. Nancy Guthrie is not well without her medication, and there has been a lot of new developments over the last couple of days. I'm going to unpack all of those right now, but I want to start off with a claim that was made by a journalist, and this claim was not supported by police, and it seems to be a point of contention. And I will give you my full opinion. I don't usually do that, but the claim was Ashley Banfield had reported on her podcast, and this was pretty much the day after the news broke that Nancy Guthrie had gone missing. Ashley Banfield reported that she had a law enforcement source that said to her that.
Chloe, was it on News Nation? Because I don't see it up on his actual page. I'll have to look. Or was it the one that he did 17 hours ago? Let me see. I'll check News Nation really quick.
Savannah Guthrie's brother-in-law was the main suspect. And this is Savannah's sister's husband, who is an Italian guy. And, you know, Savannah's sister and her husband were reportedly the last one to see Nancy Guthrie. This brother-in-law reportedly drove her home that night. So Ashley reported this, and the next day, law enforcement, the Pima County Sheriff's Office, puts out a statement saying, you know, we have no persons of interest. There is no one that we are looking at right now, kind of like everyone's a suspect, whatever. And that's pretty standard. I have to say, when law enforcement says that, it generally means that they are investigating, and anything that you hear, anything that, you know, your neighbor hears, kind of keep that to yourself while the investigation is ongoing, as to not do any type of damage. So there were internet battles here. I want to say, like, a lot of people were like, why would she say that? You know, why would she say that if it's not true?
Okay, you guys want to see that one? Because I can pull that up right now. Type one in the chat if you guys just want to skip this video and watch the one that Brian Enton put out 17 hours ago. Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. Let me pull it up.
Hey guys.
Let me pull it up. Okay, Jad said one. All right, here we go. Brian Enton. This was 17 hours ago, you guys. So this may leave out some recent news, but let's see what he's got to say.
Thanks so much for checking out my show. I really, really appreciate it. Please.
This guy looks like he ain't getting no sleep, huh? But look how dark this is. They have to have two lights, one light on him and then one light to fill in the background, just so you guys can kind of see.
Click to subscribe. I really appreciate all the support. There's been a ton of developments over the last 12 hours or so in the Nancy Guthrie investigation. Nancy Guthrie, of course, is missing.
All right, y'all. I'm gonna use the restroom real quick. I'll be right back.
Savannah Guthrie's daughter, and Savannah Guthrie put out this just really emotional and sad video message about her mom, about the situation, and also pleading to whoever allegedly abducted her mom, and even saying that they're willing to talk to that person in light of these ransom notes that we have heard about. And I'm going to get to that more in a second. I'm going to play you what Savannah said. I'm also going to talk to a retired FBI agent about what all of this means. about what's happening behind the scenes. You know, there are a lot of indications, obviously, that Savannah Guthrie and her family are sort of coordinating with law enforcement in terms of releasing this video. And I'll tell you something else I learned about that a little later in this episode that indicates that that is the case. So I'll get to that in a second. But first, I want to talk about what happened outside Nancy Guthrie's house, because this was really interesting. You know, I've been out here for days. Police took the crime scene tape down. They were gone. There was no one out here for a while, and then there was private security hired by the family just to keep an eye on the house. Well, then all of a sudden, yesterday, which would have been, get my days mixed up, yesterday would have been Wednesday, all of a sudden around like 4 o'clock or so local time, all of these sheriff's office pickup trucks and evidence units came down the road, really out of nowhere, went into the yard, and they set up a full crime scene at Nancy Guthrie's house yet again. And we're going in and out of the house. I want to show you, this is drone video. Shout out to my cameraman, Mo. He got his drone up very, very quickly.
Damn, he brought the drone out.
Going on, and you can see they cordoned off the front of the house. They had the caution tape, the crime scene tape out very, very quickly. You could see the evidence trucks and the technicians that were out here with law enforcement. There was also a canine out here. They were searching around the house. We saw them out in the brush. There's a lot of cactus. It's rugged terrain here around Nancy Guthrie's house. And then perhaps what was, they were all over the house. And then what was most interesting is they really seemed to be focused in on the garage. And Mo was able to get this shot of the garage with his drone. They were going in and out of the garage. They had evidence bags that they were packing up. And again, the garage seemed to be sort of a focal point. And then really within 2 hours, they closed the garage. They took the crime scene tape down and they were gone. I'm going to talk to my guest in a minute, retired FBI agent Steve Moore, about what may have been going on here. Like, why would they clear the crime scene days ago and then randomly show up and seem to do something very targeted, like a targeted search, because they were in and out so quickly. It was only 2 hours. So I'm going to ask Steve about that in a second. Something else interesting just 10 minutes away from here is where Nancy Guthrie's daughter, Annie, Savannah's sister, Annie Guthrie, lives. I was over there also today. And I
also saw that SF said that he was going to go on Court TV and talk about this. So if anybody can find that link, send it over. Send it over.
Saw FBI agents there yesterday. We saw other federal agents there today, and we were able to get video of them coming and going. And they had ICAC on their that was like the acronym on their shirts, which is Internet Crimes Against Children, which, talking to some of my law enforcement sources, makes sense because that is a unit within the federal government that deals with kidnappings. They're very, very good at downloading data from phones. But what's interesting is when they went in, these federal agents with ICAC, I think they call them ICAC, they went in with a little tripod, I noticed, and a ring light, which now looking back makes sense in light of this Savannah Guthrie interview. They were likely assisting Savannah and her siblings in shooting this video and would be highly specialized in what would need to go into a video like this to appeal to a possible kidnapper. Let me play you what Savannah said and her sister said in the video, and then after that, I will get to retired FBI agent Steve Moore. We can kind of break down everything that happened, the search at the house, and then also this new Savannah Guthrie video.
On behalf of our family, we want to thank all of you for the prayers for our beloved mom, Nancy. We feel them, and we continue to believe that she feels them too. Our mom is a kind, faithful, loyal, fiercely loving woman of goodness and light.
Oh, that's funny, a good question, Peekaboo.
Spunky and clever. She has grandchildren that adore her and crowd around her.
We'll take a look.
She loves fun and adventure. She is a devoted friend. She is full of kindness and knowledge. Talk to her and you'll see.
The light is missing from our lives. Nancy is our mother. We are her children. She is our beacon. She holds fast to joy in all of life's circumstances. She chooses joy day after day. Despite
Cindy, are you taking notes for your boots on the ground adventure? Drone, chair, camera, lights, rain gear? I think we have all that. Yeah, we definitely have all of that to make it happen. So we're going to have to plan one sometime. I don't know. We'll see if anything pops up for the David case so we can make our way out there.
having already passed through great trials of pain and grief, we are always going to be merely human, just normal human people who need our mom. Mama.
Do you guys remember the name of the school that he worked at so we can check it out?
Mama, if you're listening, we need you to come home. We miss you.
Yeah, we got to start a David fund.
Our mom is our heart and our home. She's 84 years old. Her health, her heart is fragile. She lives in constant pain.
Shit, I just went to Tommaso's LinkedIn and I didn't realize that I was logged in, so he's probably going to know that I've been lurking on his LinkedIn. Whoops.
She is without any medicine. She needs it to survive. She needs it not to suffer.
You know, a lot of people have been mentioning that, right? Why do you have to read? Why not just come from the heart? And I don't know the answer to that. I probably would need something to read, right? Because I probably couldn't gather my thoughts in the moment. I don't know, but that's just me, right? I don't know. Did they say that the FBI helped them with this note, or was it just entirely up to the family? I can't remember.
We too have heard the reports about a ransom letter in the media.
Yeah, he's
As
probably
a
gonna come
family,
get me, right, Pabbo?
We are doing everything that we can.
Okay, that's what I thought.
We are ready to talk.
We are ready to talk.
However, we live in a world where voices and images are easily manipulated. We need to know, without a doubt, that she is alive and that you have her. We want to hear from you, and we are ready to listen.
Chloe said, because you don't want to talk to kidnappers from the heart, which I don't disagree with you. That's a great point, right? The ICAC, that's Internet Crimes Against Children, can't control whether they make statements or not, but they likely suggested what to say or what not to say. Poetically, Kai said maybe the FBI asked them to. FBI said they assisted. Tiwa Tambo said the sad thing is probably the ordeal itself could have did it, right? Imagine someone waking you up in your private bedroom and forcibly removing you from your home. Yeah, I could imagine, right? It must be terrifying to be woken up in the middle of the night and all of a sudden you're getting kidnapped and taken out of your own home, right? And if you know, she has decreased mobility, maybe a little bit of weakness. Imagine she can't even fight back, right? She was bleeding, right? So we know that she was probably hit. But yeah, I hope she was able to just fight back a little bit.
Please reach out to us. Mommy, if you are hearing this, you are a strong woman. You are God's precious daughter, Nancy. We believe and know.
Okay, so I guess there's a Facebook page for Basis Oro Valley Primary. However, and I do want to just show you guys this because we went and we checked it out. The content isn't available right now. When this happens, it's usually because the owner only shared it with a small group of people who changed, who can see it, or it's been deleted. So you guys, the school in itself must have made it private, or they actually deleted it, which is really horrible. I don't know. That's irritating.
That even in this valley, he is with you. Everyone is looking for you, Mommy, everywhere. We will not rest. Your children will not rest until we are together again. We speak to you every moment, and we pray without ceasing, and we rejoice in advance for the day that we hold you in our arms again. We love you, Mom.
Love you, Mom.
We love you, Mom. Stay strong.
We love you, Mom. We love you.
I'm joined now by Steve Moore, a retired FBI agent. It's nice to see you, Steve. That Savannah Guthrie video, you know, first of all, I've been out here covering it for the last couple of days, and I get so focused on the investigation and sort of just the work mode
He
of
deleted his
covering this
Facebook
that,
too.
of course, knew how sad it was, but just seeing that video reminded me. I just think about my mom and just what that must be like for
Coco Mom. I thought you were going to sleep already. You still here? We're glad to have you. I just thought you'd be asleep by now.
her and her family right now. It's just terrible.
I can't even imagine it. You know, when we've dealt with victim families in situations like that, the amount of pain, the amount of just, I mean, the ache, there's uncertainty. It's a special kind of torture. And out of that, you see some of the braver people, you know, just go forward and do things like making that video, which I am sure was about the least desirable thing to do in the whole world.
Yeah, we were outside her sister's house earlier, which is about 10 minutes from where I am, where the mom lives, Nancy. But outside the sister's house, and we saw two federal agents go in with a ring light and with like a little phone tripod, which didn't click with me at the time, but now looking back, they were obviously helping her make the video. Do you think there was a lot of back and forth between her and her siblings and the FBI about
I just
what sort of mess?
I just realized that Brian Enton is sitting in his car, which is probably pitch black, and he's got a bright ass light shining on his face and recording an interview. That's got to be annoying.
Message to put out.
I would think that's exactly the case. There is frequently among the family members, there are strong divisions. There can be strong divisions about the way to go forward. You know, I'm not going to do anything with a ransom, you know, and the other one saying, don't you care about, you know, and the FBI ends up, I don't want to say refereeing, but certainly giving policy advice on this, because, you know, what we used to tell people in situations like this is the first, and God willing, this will be the last time you ever have to deal with this. But this is something we deal with many times a year. So we've been through this, and you probably should at least listen to us on what we think are favorable avenues to pursue.
Do you think this video, I mean, when she said we want to talk, and then she talked about, you know, five videos these days with, I guess I'm assuming she was assuming to like AI, and do you think that she's already been sent some kind of evidence that they don't think proves that this person actually has Nancy? Like, well, I guess what did you take away from the video in that way?
Well, what, you know, again, it's all.
Hey, let me know if you guys are still here in the chat and if we're still connected, because I just got a notification that my OBS cut out. If y'all are still with me, type a 1 in the chat.
The FBI at this point is playing their cards like a riverboat gambler. It's going to be right up against their chest. They are not going to let anybody read into what they're doing. It's possible that there are ransom notes out there that we don't even know about.
All right, cool.
The fact
Appreciate
that
you
ransom
guys.
notes
That had me worried.
were sent to public places are the only reason that we know now outside of the FBI that there were ransom notes. If ransom notes went directly to the family, the FBI is not going to put a press release on that. And so possible that there is another ransom note, but whichever ransom note this is, two things struck me. Number one, whoever did this provided enough information for them to have a reasonable belief that they had information source information on
Thank
the
you, Amber.
kidnapping, or or they're just grasping at straws. I tend to think they wouldn't have created this kind of video if they had no idea. The other thing is saying we're ready to talk, we're listening. Kind of doesn't sound like a ransom note where somebody said, put this much money on this Bitcoin via this.
Okay, I do see that TMZ uploaded a video called "The FBI Called Us," so we'll have a chance to watch it after this.
Site and do this, because they've already talked, and they
Deanna, welcome, welcome.
The kidnappers would not need to discuss the demands any further. But what they said very specifically is, we need proof of life. And that is why I think, one of the things that's bothersome is whoever did this, I think, didn't read enough books. This to me seems like somebody who's never seen this except in movies and novels. And they didn't read far enough to where they say, if you're going to bring somebody who's 84 years old and is life dependent upon her medications.
I agree with you, Chameleon. Yeah, I mean, he seems to be like a fan favorite amongst viewers like us, right? A lot of us gravitate towards his videos, and we're constantly keeping up with everything that he's putting out. I mean, just look at him. Looks like he's sleeping outside and waiting for the next thing to happen.
You better bring those medications, because somebody eventually is going to want to have proof of life. So there's so much contradictory information.
That is a great point, right? If they know that they're gonna want, unless these people have no idea that she's on medication, but if they're looking for a ransom and they want to get paid, they damn well better make sure that they have proof of life
on. And I think that's what's really the confusing and disturbing part.
Yeah, it's been tricky to cover because there's been conflicting information that's even come out from the sheriff at times, and now the FBI seems more involved. I guess I'm still hung up on, and we just don't know, but do you think she was really kidnapped by a stranger? I mean, what does your gut tell you? Is this really a situation where some stranger took her and it's a ransom situation?
No, I don't think that's the case. And when I say I don't think these things, understand I'm saying think. Right. I'm just going with my professional experience, and I am not denying that it could be that way. However, if you were going to do a kidnapping and you had researched it and you were going to every length you could to do a kidnapping,
right, Nebby? Where did the email come from, right? If anything, that's got to be one of the fastest things that they'd be able to identify and track down and figure out where it came from. I mean, unless these guys are real professionals, and if that's the case, then they've got something big on their hands to deal with. I mean, shit, we know that the FBI was already able to find an imposter, right? But what's taking them so long? Maybe the evidence is, right in front of their face.
One of the phases that you would go through in the kidnapping is selecting the victim of the kidnapping and the person you are trying to extort money from. And Savannah Guthrie, though she's worth a lot of money, would not pop up on my radar as somebody who would be so well off that she could just pop $2 million of cash out of her checkbook. And so to me, she's not, Nancy was not a logical choice of a target, from the beginning, ab initio. However, in more kidnappings than not, in fact, I'm struggling to find a kidnapping that I've worked on
Chloe.
Where it wasn't somebody who saw a target of opportunity, an employee, a family friend, a high school classmate who realized that this kid I went to high school with, his dad's worth zillions. So why don't we do that? It's usually
Zillions.
a target of opportunity. And so somebody in the family is aware of them and knows them. And frequently, the people who do this are have been in the person's house, which would make it easier for them to case the place. And little things like if you come in, say hypothetically there's a cleaning person who comes in, well, 3 days before the kidnapping you could leave a
But
specific
why,
window
Amber?
unlocked.
Why?
Although I think there was probably more of a violent entry in this one, but you see where I'm going with this. It seems to me like a target of opportunity with somebody who is related or tangentially related with the victim, even if not Savannah herself.
I like the word. He said tangentially related. I wonder if he was hinting at something when he said that.
Is the FBI looking at everyone connected to Nancy right now that's been in the house, people that have worked for her, family members? I mean, and by the way, President Trump put out a tweet a little while ago saying that he is going to put all the resources of the federal government, whatever needs to be sent to Tucson is about.
I mean,
to be
that's
sent,
something that we got to see,
I don't know
right?
if that was just a way of showing support or if that will actually help, if they actually need more resources. I'm not sure. But like, what do you think the FBI is doing behind the scenes?
There is so much going on, Brian. You talked with Maureen the other day, and she's, as usual, pretty smart. And there are so many.
All right, you guys, trivia time, and don't look this up. How old is Brian Enton?
The sheriff says there's no suspects, there's no person of interest. Well, no, that's not true. It's like somebody searching for a house. You moved into the neighborhood or moved into the area, you want to buy a house. The realtor is going to show you 5 or 6 homes. And if somebody says, have you chosen one? Oh no. Are you leaning towards one? Not really.
That's right, Nebby.
But you might have 5 homes that you're really strongly looking at. It's the same way in cases like this. I would be surprised if there wasn't at least a dozen people that the FBI right now was sussing out. And what you always know when you're on these cases is 99% of these people that we're looking at will.
Dang, y'all are good. Yeah, he's actually 40. Turns 41 in May.
Will be innocent. One of them is the one who did it. So you expect to have
like me
dozens sometimes of suspects. And what helps is sending a team of 5 or 6 agents per. What helps is getting evidence back and forth to the lab. The FBI can literally helicopter something to the airport, have a jet waiting for it, and it'll be in Quantico in 4.5 hours. So the FBI has some amazing capabilities. And I think what the president was doing is offering those.
So I've been out here for a couple of days. The crime scene tape was all taken down. At one point there was no even private security out here, and anybody could just walk up to the house. Then they had private security come back, but still no police presence. And then today, Steve, around 4 o'clock, suddenly all of these cops showed up, like a ton of sheriff's deputies. The evidence response team. They cordoned off the whole house again with crime scene tape. And
how many times have they gone back to the house? It's been 2 or 3 times already. Yeah, they're just out there working.
They opened the garage. We had our drone up so we could see they were going in and out of the garage, bringing out evidence bags, and they were here. It seemed like they knew what they were going after because they showed up. They put the crime scene tape up. They were there for 2 hours, and then they were gone. And they left and they took the crime scene tape down. Is that strange?
That's true,
they
Chloe.
would be back?
Well, it's unusual that they would be back. When you leave the house, you believe you have covered everything that you possibly can. You're not going to release it unless you come to that conclusion. However, if going down the investigative trail on one of these dozen people who you're looking at, I wouldn't call them persons of interest, but people who you need to eliminate as
That's
suspects.
true, huh?
If you get something that sends you right back to the house, like a person hypothetically says somebody left something here, they'll go right back to the house and see if that's true. I've seen that a
Possibly,
couple
right?
times. You don't like to do that
To
because you've
confirm the
already released
timeline.
the scene, and the stuff you find is going to be hard to keep in court because the scene is assumed to be compromised. But if they stayed 2 hours and came in and out, it sounds to me like a very specific search, and something
Probably.
that where they
Probably,
were looking
Nebby.
for something very specific. And if they brought evidence bags out, they may have found it.
Oh.
Does it surprise you? Because with other crimes I've covered, like even after that initial couple of days where they're really going in and out and they've got the caution or the crime scene tape up, they'll all leave, but sometimes they'll leave like one deputy outside and they'll leave the tape up and they'll keep it all cordoned off, even though you can tell they're not going in and out like they once were. But then at least it's available to them if they want to come back 4 or 5 days later. Does it surprise you they didn't do that here, or is that just normal that they would process it in a day and be done?
It kind of surprised me. I was really surprised when they released the scene, because that is either a sign of absolute certainty that you've gotten everything you can, or a belief that the scene itself is not of any further value to you. That I have not seen a lot lately, and I think what you're going to see, a lot of these contradictions and a lot of, faking left and going right and things like that are not so much fakes as they are the fact that when this case started, it was started by the sheriff's office, and the sheriff's office has their own protocols. But when the FBI comes in and gets involved, the same conversation goes on. The sheriff's department may have worked one kidnapping in the last 2 years. The FBI works them nationwide every day.
Yep.
So
That's crazy. Did you hear what he just said? Listen to that part.
The sheriff's department may have worked one kidnapping in the last 2 years. The FBI works them nationwide every day. So at a certain point, you say, listen, let us help you. And then when that happens, the FBI is going to say, okay, first thing, the house should not have been released. You shouldn't have said this. We shouldn't have said that. And you start going on an FBI protocol where you had been with the sheriff's protocol. And before anybody says this, I am not anti-police. I am not anti-sheriffs. Are sharp, intelligent people. But it's like, would you rather some
Peekaboo said, don't search warrants dictate where they can go and when. I mean, from what I've learned in the David case, they absolutely do, right? They're limited to what they can get. And I don't know if it limits how much time they can spend there, but it definitely limits what they can get from there. So obviously, if they keep going back, they're obviously finding more clues that deem it necessary for them to return, right? But why not just keep it closed down and off, right? Off limits until everything's done.
Somebody who has played baseball all week play for you, or somebody who hasn't played in 6 months. You want the person who's experienced and current.
Yeah, it would make sense. Did you see, Steve, the blood video that we got? I don't know if you've seen it from outside the front door.
I have seen snippets, but I have not seen the uninterrupted video.
What do you think about the blood being found outside the front door? Because it wasn't, and I saw it, it wasn't really a trail like into the driveway or from the front door into the driveway. It was kind of just in that one area, it seemed like.
Yeah.
By the door.
What that might indicate is that the person who was bleeding stood there for a little while. And if you can almost estimate the level of bleeding by when you think they're walking or when you think they're standing for a little while. It could be just a bloody nose, something like that. We don't know. But sometimes mingled in with the blood are indications of other things that might give you other clues as to where it's from. But I was encouraged that it wasn't what we call blood spatter, things hitting the wall. Those are usually indications of blunt trauma force, things like that, at least that we've seen. We don't know what was going on in that house. But the way the blood is found, the pattern of the blood, tells a lot about an attack, if there was an attack. And so, again, I'm sure, I mean, obviously if there's blood outside, there's going to be blood inside. They obviously have not said anything, nor would I expect them to. If it was my case, I wouldn't say a word.
Is there anything else?
What? We got Iceland in the house? Well, what's up, Iceland? How's it going?
Else, Steve, that stands out to you with this whole thing? Because just covering it, you know, it just feels so unusual. I mean, this is an older woman missing. Is there anything else that to you has just been like that has really stood out?
You know, nothing has stood out to me as wildly unusual. I mean, to the public, the fact that this happened, and it happened to the mother of a celebrity that they've probably seen dozens of times on TV, this may seem like the most bizarre, obtuse thing they've ever seen. But the actual modus operandi here is not unusual for the FBI. Things I've seen in my cases where somebody who knows a person who's got a rich relative says, this is my gold mine. And what you see is kind of an unprofessional attempt at following the books they've read, because, you know, there are nobody out there who does their second kidnapping, because they're always caught on the first. So everybody who goes into a kidnapping is an amateur, and 99% of them are caught.
What?
Yeah, well, I really hope this one ends soon. I mean,
I do too.
I know, you know, I don't know what's going to happen, but I think it would be so amazing to see her come back alive.
Yeah, and I don't think that's out of the question. It just depends on how smart these people who took her are. And I would add this to what postscript to Savannah's video. The FBI is going to catch you. There is no doubt. You are going to be caught. So now you have to decide what you want to be convicted of. And this would be the best time to be convicted of taking her, but then giving her back. Otherwise, it's going to go really poorly for you.
Wow.
You will not win. And if you hurt her, you're caught twice as soon.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hopefully they're listening, and hopefully they see.
Hold on. Did y'all hear? Wow. That was good. Let's run that back. Those are some powerful words, you guys.
Script to Savannah's video. The FBI is going to catch you. There is no doubt. You are going to be caught. So now you have to decide what you want to be convicted of.
Wow.
And this would be the best time to be convicted of taking her, but then giving her back. Otherwise, it's going to go really poorly for you. You will not win. And if you hurt her, you're caught twice as soon.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hopefully they're listening.
I wonder how many times he said that to people in his career, right? Because he says it with so much conviction. And you know what? Shit, I'm convinced. And I just hope that they find, you know, whoever's responsible for this. And I really, really, really hope that Nancy Guthrie is still alive.
And hopefully they see, if that is the situation and someone has her that's like a stranger, hopefully they'll see the video and maybe it'll pull at their heartstrings a little bit. Steve, I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
As always, I really, really appreciate it.
All right, so we got another video. This one is from TMZ.
So Savannah.
This one says that the FBI got in contact with them. Let's see what they got to say.
Guthrie and her siblings have reached out based on a ransom note. Now, we received an alleged ransom note that we forwarded on to the authorities, to the sheriff's department. The FBI called us a few hours later, had a bunch of questions about that note.
Right. And there were a lot of things that we discussed with them that we made an agreement with them that we would not disclose just for sake of the investigation.
Right. Now, this
I'm hoping and praying they do
ransom note that we
Gold Digger.
received,
I hope they were smart
There's a
enough to
lot of
bring it.
detail in it, and we're not going to be specific about that.
And if they didn't, I really, really, really hope that they dusted all of her medication bottles. Because I bet you they were contemplating if they should or they shouldn't bring it.
We will say this, that when you look at the plea that Savannah Guthrie made yesterday, saying we're ready to talk, there are deadlines, I say plural, deadlines in this letter, and one is looming.
Right. If this isn't indeed a legit letter, and whether it's this letter or one of the other ones that was sent out.
And the other ones may be the same as ours.
It may be the same. We just don't know. But it seems pretty clear that the FBI and the authorities are taking something serious from the abductors.
Now, as far as
that's why the family would sit down and make that
right
that video yesterday.
And as far as the letter we received, they mention 2 items in this letter, and I think they're trying to show we're for real. Now, again, we are saying this is an alleged ransom note. We don't know. These are actually people who have Savannah's mother. We don't know. But they mentioned 2 items, and they describe certain characteristics, and those characteristics, and in one case, the item itself, has not been made public.
I never want to look at this guy in the eyes.
That is correct. The 2 items that are mentioned are correct.
And so
that part certainly to the authorities would say these people are serious and they actually do have Nancy.
So the final thing about the letter, and again, we're not going to get into all the details, but when the family is reaching out to say we're ready to talk, this letter suggests no talk. That was made clear right at the beginning.
Yeah, and so I think that the family sitting down and speaking that way, that they are trying to change the minds of the abductors, and hoping that they actually will, one, provide that proof of life, but also clearly there was an attempt to humanize not just Nancy, but also themselves, to say, look, we desperately want our mother back. So whether or not that works.
And one of the reasons that this alleged ransom note, it gives me pause, is that we didn't receive it until 3 days after the abduction. That is odd to wait 3 days if indeed they have kidnapped a woman who is
elderly
ill,
woman who needs medications,
has a pacemaker.
And if she doesn't have those medications, why would you wait 3 days? And again, I'm not saying we don't know whether it's legitimate, but that does seem odd that you would, why wouldn't it have come a couple of days earlier?
Right. And, it's interesting that depending on where, if this were true, that they do have her, and she doesn't have her medication, and they need to show proof of life, it would be interesting to know who has gone to a drugstore to get
whatever
this medication that she's taking. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's one of the things the authorities are doing right now. So, again.
Do you know which video it is? Because I'm on TMZ's YouTube, and it says the last video they uploaded was 8 hours ago. Is it on a different platform?
We're not going to get specific. This letter is very detailed, but the way everything aligns and the fact that there is a looming deadline, again, not the only one, but there are 2 in there, that I think it was just interesting timing yesterday.
Oh, this one right here?
Here now with more is founder of TMZ.
All right, oh my God. What is going on with Harvey? Ever since those Epstein files came out, she's looking a little tired.
Harvey, my friend, wish I saw you under better circumstances. Let's talk a little bit what you learned as this was going on in real time while you're doing the show.
Well, I kind of need to back this up to Tuesday when we received what looked like a ransom letter. And so we called the sheriff's department in Pima, and they took the information. There was something in that letter that caught my eye at the end where they mention both. Now I can say it because the FBI said it, an Apple Watch and a damaged floodlight. What I found interesting, because we knew she wore an Apple Watch, there are pictures of her with Savannah with that watch, but they mentioned where the watch was, the placement of the watch in the house. And that's not something that was out there. So I had a long talk with the sheriff's department. A couple hours later, the FBI called, and they wanted a lot of information. So when I said there are two deadlines, yes, there is one that changes the demand, and that's the one that that has already
You like my dog a lot better?
And the one on Monday is far more consequential.
Hey.
Well, I want to go back to that word consequential, because what you said on your show, something is supposed to change if they don't pay the money. By the
DJ See
first
No
deadline,
Evil.
quote,
DJ See No Evil, welcome. We're just kind of catching up on some of the latest stuff that's come out for the Nancy Guthrie disappearance. So we're just watching a few videos that came out, just kind of catching everybody up with what's out there right now. Ashley Banfield just uploaded a video right now too. So if y'all want to watch it, y'all better type a one in the chat. This came out 10 seconds ago, so let me know.
but the second deadline is much more important. And now you're saying much more consequential. Look, I'm not going to ask you to disclose anything you can't disclose.
I know, Pat Boat. I just heard about that. She just showed up, right? All right, I see a bunch of ones in the chat, so we're gonna get through this really quick, and then we'll jump over to Ashley Banfield's video.
The urgency to find her, time is certainly of the essence.
Drop dead.
Number one, for medication, her age, her health.
I'm very curious how Ashley is gonna clap back, because I promise you earlier I heard her say that her source is impeccable. Very crazy words to use, right? So she sounds very confident in what her source is telling.
And it sounds like there's a greater threat behind this.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're reading it right.
Oh, Nebby. Oh, Nebby. It's exactly what I was thinking as soon as I seen the lighting on this video.
I will say the letter begins, and again, we're not sure that this is really written by the person who has Nancy. But I will say the letter begins by saying she is safe but scared. And they go on to say she knows exactly what the demand is. And so they are, through us telling the family, and obviously the sheriff's department gave the family the letter we received, exactly what they're demanding, and they're saying that Nancy is aware of it. They are also saying, Sean, and I find this, pretty interesting when you look at what happened today. They're saying that this will be their only communication, and they are done communicating, negotiating. Here's the deal, and that's it. And as the clock ticks, I think that's one of the reasons the FBI and other authorities have, gotten desperate here, because as far as we can tell, it's impossible to trace the origin of this email. And I will say that there are real reasons based on what's written there that I believe that this person is in the radius of the Tucson area. And there's something very specific in there, and I'm sure the FBI keyed in on this a while ago. And it makes me think that whoever did this, if whoever wrote this letter is in that Tucson area. And I think it's one of the reasons, too, that they sent the same email to one of the local stations in Tucson. This person is familiar with the Tucson television market. And based on the way it's written, I believe that this is somebody in that wide Tucson area, not in Tucson. Could be in New Mexico. They could be in New Mexico now, but they are definitely familiar with Tucson.
All right, it's interesting because both you and Nancy Grace, both old friends of mine, both have the same theory that it's a local person. When you first read this, and as you examine this, and as you talk to law enforcement,
Padboat said Ashley is just as bad as Nancy Grace. Even if she's right, that could jeopardize her friend's mom. I mean, I guess anything for the views, right?
you know, you have great instincts, Harvey. I mean, you've been a success for decades on television. You kind of have a nose for what's true and not true. Does your gut tell you this is very real to you, that this is a ransom, a kidnapping ransom?
Well, look, I don't know for sure. I felt that when I called the sheriff and told them about these two items, that would be a telltale thing. That if those items or something in the description match something that we don't know, that the public didn't know, then it gives credence to it. And again, I got a call from the FBI a few hours later, and they were very interested. They were on the phone with my IT team. As far as I know, and my IT team has been hard at work on this, and I know the feds have. I don't think they're going to be able to figure out where this email originated from. I know the Bitcoin address is real. So what I will say is this, that this is not a letter that was thrown together in a couple of minutes. It is a very specific, well-organized, layered letter that really lays things out. This is not AI. You know, if an English teacher were to look at the structure and the grammar and everything else, I think they would have no notes. So this is somebody, it's not a crazy person who's writing this. I mean, they may be crazy, but they have the capacity to make demands, say what they want, say what they don't want, and it's very, very structured.
So,
DJ See No Evil, it is a pleasure of mine to do whatever I can so that everybody can enjoy our show. So we appreciate you. We appreciate your presence. We appreciate you supporting our channel. So thank you for that. And again, if there is anybody out there that is visually impaired, hearing impaired, please let me know if there's anything that I can do to make this show more consumable for you.
The family has now reached out twice publicly, and it is your strong belief, and you've seen the letter, you got the first copy that I know of. It's your strong belief that, in fact, this will be their only means of communication. You don't believe they'll be responding to Savannah or her brother.
Well, look, Sean, that's what they say in the letter. You know, there's a substantial demand here. And what the Guthries have said is they want proof of life. And just saying in the letter she's okay but scared doesn't prove life. And so I don't know what's going to happen. You know, will whoever, if this letter is legitimate, will this person have a change of heart and try and send something? I don't know. But the way it's written, they say this is it. It's the only communication, and the police aren't going to be able to help you. They're that bold saying that. So as far as I know, the police don't have a lot of clues here, because that's one of the reasons they were so open today at the news conference and provided more details. But I will tell you, and I think this is, you know, I just cannot overstate my gut here. And it's more than my gut. There is a phrase in this email that absolutely makes me believe this person who wrote this, and if they're telling the truth, that Nancy is within a radius of the Tucson area, not in Tucson right now, but in a radius. It could be New Mexico. I don't know how far, but I think at least what the authorities have is they've got a radius, and that's something.
Yeah, I mean, think back to the Elizabeth Smart case, right? Harvey Levin, we really appreciate you taking time to be with us. Thank you for sharing all.
All right, you guys, we got one more video left, and that is Ashley Banfield. Again, if you guys want to watch that, I need you guys to drop a 1 in the chat. And if you guys can do me a favor, hit the like button, y'all. We got a small crowd today. A smaller crowd than we normally do, but you know what? I wouldn't have it any other way. All of you guys have been hanging out since the beginning of this, and I appreciate you guys all for being here. There's no other place I'd rather be. Seriously, though, sometimes I go to work and I'm like, I can't wait to go home and just hop on my computer and stream with you guys, and hang out and chat about this. Let me see. Just got an email right now that said Newsmax posted FBI Director Kash Patel plans to visit Tucson as authorities ramp up the search for Nancy Guthrie, 84, and Savannah Guthrie's mother, believed taken from her home over the weekend, sources say. All right, I see some ones in the chat. We're going to go ahead and play it. But if you guys are just lurking in the background, right, and I haven't heard from you guys all night, and you guys like the content that we're putting out, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell notification so you know when we go on. Unfortunately, we're only able to do late night lives, but I enjoy hanging out with everybody that's here. So let's go ahead and get started, y'all. It's okay, Darcy. It doesn't matter if you're late. Oh yeah, Chameleon. I seen it. It's tanking really bad, huh? I think the last time I checked it was like 70,000. How much lower is it now? I gotta check.
Serious, and what a day! This is day 5 of
Ooh,
one
this
of
guy
the
right
more
here?
tragic stories that I think any family could ever go through. Nancy
This
Guthrie,
guy?
84 years old, the mother of Savannah Guthrie, Today Show co-host, still missing. Presumed alive because there's no other information to go on, according to the sheriff. But this story is complex. It is mysterious. It is tragic. It is frustrating on many levels. A lot happened today. I'm going to get you up to speed on many things, including the heat that I'm taking for my reporting.
Ooh.
Several days
Let
ago,
'em
I
know.
got a pretty big break on this case from an impeccable source in law enforcement,
I'm
high-level
telling
law
you, there it goes. Impeccable source.
enforcement, who told me that several things had happened in this case, not the least of which cameras were smashed outside of Nancy's home, 2 of them, right? Also, that Nancy's daughter Annie's car had been towed and was in evidence. And I am going to use specific language here because my source told me, quote, son-in-law may be prime suspect. And, you know, big pushback from Sheriff's Department in Pima County, and I get it, saying at this point, investigators have not identified a suspect or person of interest in this case. That was a printed statement. And the sheriff, Chris Nanos, also went hard on that today in a press conference. But I want to break that down for you because there were several points in that press conference where language was very, very nuanced. And I also saw a couple of places where there were not denials of some of my reporting. So we're going to go through that all in a minute. More importantly, there are a couple of big news items today as well. An arrest of whomever allegedly decided that it was a good idea to insert himself into the
Sorry to interrupt. DJ See No Evil, thank you for that. On Twitch, you can stream on both with StreamYard, and we did create a Twitch account, so we are going to start streaming on Twitch, probably on Kick, and all the other ones too. So if you're on any of those platforms, make sure you follow me, Flojo TV, y'all. I don't know when we're going to do it, but it's coming, y'all.
Guthrie's tragedy and try to make money. Okay, allegations are pretty severe for this guy, and the punishment will be probably swift and furious. I'll get to that as well. Somebody who was a faker who sent one of the ransom notes. That doesn't mean that all of the ransom notes have been cleared yet. There's news on that as well, and very interesting news on that, especially since Savannah Guthrie's brother, Cameron Guthrie, late this evening decided to release a post on Instagram again, much like his sister Savannah did yesterday. It is a specific request for whomever might be this kidnapper who sent a ransom note to please communicate, and obviously proof of life is top of their minds. Have a listen to this.
This is Cameron Guthrie. I'm speaking for the Guthrie family. whoever is out there holding our mother, we want to hear from you. We haven't heard anything directly. We need you to reach out, and we need a way to communicate with you so we can move forward. But first, we have to know that you have our mom. We want to talk to you, and we are waiting for contact.
You should know the FBI is heavily involved in this case now, especially as concerns these alleged ransom notes, right? And the ICAC also heavily involved in this case. Important because that's the International Crimes Against Children Task Force, but don't think of this as crimes against children. They do a lot with kidnapping and a lot with tracking kidnappers. So they were the ones that carried the ring light in and the iPhone tripod.
Oh, I thought that was a hospital bracelet she was wearing, but it's her Apple Watch.
To help the Guthrie family record Savannah's statement on Instagram yesterday. Perhaps they also helped Cameron with his tonight. But the thing that the FBI said in the press conference today that was so interesting about kidnappings and ransom was that kidnappers typically are much quicker to the gate with the demands.
Doesn't look like
and
they
the
did Hub
communications
Habo.
don't usually just end with the initial request, right? The demands are typically discussed. There's typically communication, and this to the FBI today was unusual.
Amber, can I make a request? Can you switch your name back to what you had, what you had it to for 2 weeks?
Which, for what it's worth, is what they have to go on at this point. And what they said was that absolutely zero contact has been made with the Guthrie family since the ransom note went to the media. So there's a couple of different ransom stories going on. You've probably heard several. I'm just going to be as clear as I can, as clear as the law enforcement authorities have been with us. There was one that went to TMZ via email. There was one that went to KOLD TV locally in Arizona by email. And there was one that went to KGUN, another local station in Arizona. It is thought, but not 100% clear from the authorities, that those three are all the same ones from the same source. But there's another one. Federal prosecutors have now charged a man in California, Derek Kalela. I don't know if it's Kalela, Kalea, C-A-L-L.
Oh, wow. So they can... Wow. Okay. Damn, he looks like he's aged. So this looks like it's the same person. Hold on. These photos right over here. Looks exactly... Okay, they've got the same facial markings on their face where they've got the birthmarks under their eyes and on their face. So I'm assuming this has got to be the same exact person. Okay. Look at this guy. Look how much he's aged. And then we got this guy. Sorry, y'all. Oh, that's Cash. That's not Derek. All right. Look at him. Damn. He looks like he must have gotten into some drugs.
E-L-L-A. And they are accusing him of inserting himself into this case by sending what authorities say was a bogus ransom demand to...
Seriously, though, can somebody in the chat walk me through what what his state of mind was, you know, as this was all unfolding on TV, and he just decided to just, you know, insert himself into this and decide that I'm just going to go ahead and send a ransom note myself.
Savannah Guthrie and her family directly. They say Derek Kalela allegedly reached out directly to Nancy's daughter, Annie Guthrie, and her husband, Tommaso Cioni, asking whether, quote, the Bitcoin had been sent, end quote, and claiming that he was, quote, waiting for the transaction to go through, end quote. Let me just say, that is going to be very, very hard to defend. If someone had just sent a text and said, are you going to pay? That you could defend because it could be a question. I feel bad for you. Are you going to pay this? But no, that is very specific. Waiting for the transaction to go through. Federal agents say the message came through a voice-over internet system that can disguise phone numbers. Congratulations. Guess what? Court records say that the digital trail was able to connect the account back to a Google email. And you know who it allegedly belonged to? Derek Kalela. So after being advised of his rights, prosecutors say that he admitted that he sent 2 messages. And the investigators say he told them he found the family's contact information online and had been closely following media coverage as the case unfolded. And according to the FBI, the messages were not the end of it. They say he also called the family directly. So if Derek Kalea, in fact did this, he's in for a world of hurt, because the criminal complaint against him says he's facing 2 federal charges, allegedly transmitting communication containing a demand or a request for a ransom for the release of any kidnapped person, and also making a phone call without disclosing his identity with the intent to abuse, threaten, or harass a person. And I did a little quick research, very, very cursory research here, but under California statute, a defendant who uses the internet, again, that's cross state lines, right? To extort a crime victim during an investigation has a realistic exposure to somewhere between a range of 3 to 8 years in prison, federal prison. And that's the lower end, because it can actually go up to a potential of life as a maximum if aggravated witness intimidation and criminal threats like strike priors are in play. So on the low end, 3 to 8.
Here, believe it or not, okay, somebody sent me a screenshot of an email, and I don't know if they're here in the chat, but they sent me an email that stated, it was a Facebook post that said, Tommaso Cioni created a GoFundMe page for Nancy. Can you guys believe that? If there's any truth to that, can you imagine this guy had already set up a GoFundMe page for Nancy? That shit is ridiculous.
I mean, what kind of parasite does this? What kind of parasite? And I think we all know there are plenty, right? And that's just one of these ransom demands. We still have, these 3 other communications that were sent via email, and they mentioned apparently floodlights.
Here, hold on. Let me just show y'all, right? This was a post that was sent to me via email. Hold on. Let me download it really quick. Here. I don't know if there's any truth to it, but this was sent to me. And it says here that Tommaso Cioni starts a GoFundMe account for his wife's mother and his mother-in-law, Nancy Guthrie. He also said she's doing fine. What? She's doing fine. What is he doing saying any of this? That's wild.
At Nancy's house and an Apple Watch. Okay, Brian Enton has been out front and reporting a lot of this, but I do want to let you know that the timing of this...
Hey, shout out to David is way guilty. Welcome back, David is way guilty.
Is really interesting. So Monday is February the 2nd. Lots of reporting on this. Visuals of Nancy's house. The crime scene tape has come down.
I think Tommaso was saying that Nancy is fine. But how does he know?
And news actually breaks. So Brian Enton actually asked the authorities in the news conference today, did the ransom note come in before all that news broke or after all that news broke, when you could see the floodlights and we knew about the Apple Watch? Have a look.
When did the first ransom note arrive? And the reason I ask is because the Apple Watch has been in the news and on social media, and you could see like floodlights on video. So was it before those things were out in the world?
I don't have the specific time frame as I sit here today of what time it came in, but that you are right. Anyone could see a floodlight hanging down, could have seen some of those things. The watch has been talked about, so that timing is tricky, but that's why we're taking it serious no matter what, and following the leads on that. But I don't have the time frame that the first note came in as I sit here today.
So I can tell you right now, there was wide reporting on the Apple Watch separating from Nancy's pacemaker on Monday. And
it's like one of those Spider-Man moments, right? David is guilty and David is way guilty.
Much of those communications, started arriving Monday evening. So it's entirely possible somebody just saw the news, saw the floodlights, heard about the pacemaker and the watch, and sent these notes out, just once again trying to insert themselves Is it possible there is someone holding Nancy Guthrie? They've got to go on these leads. They have to go on these leads. They have to treat it as though it's possible, which is why you're seeing these proof of life videos from the Guthrie kids. It's why you're seeing valuable law enforcement resources and time and energy dedicated to this. Big waste of time if this is just some parasite, right? And it's why the sentencing range can take you up to the max. So let's turn now to the press conference, because some of the things.
I mean, it's very possible that that was probably a fake account, but imagine, and I'm on GoFundMe right now, and I'm looking up to see if there is anything by him or not. Fortunately, we don't see anything, right? I don't see anything posted by him, but imagine if he actually made a GoFundMe account this early.
The sheriff said today, and how he said these things speaks volumes, right? There is a lot, including some of the things he said, I think, about my reporting and other people's reporting. Before I get to that, though, I do want to tell you thank you very much for watching this podcast and supporting my podcast. I can't do this without you. You mean the world to me, especially during a big story like this. And so I also need to tell you that my sponsors make this possible
I've seen
as
that,
well.
Dave is way guilty.
And I am so appreciative of them as well. Joy and Blokes is one of them. And it's for us. It's for ladies, especially if we're feeling exhausted and anxious and feeling exhausted. And light therapy. It's an JOI. Every conference gave us today definitively was that the blood that was found outside of Nancy's front door on that stoop, on those tiles, that's been confirmed. It is Nancy's blood. It is not a perpetrator's blood. It's just Nancy's blood. And they've confirmed that it is, in fact, blood. Brian Enton did that plenty well enough from News Nation, being able to actually witness it for himself. The only DNA evidence that they've gotten back is that porch blood, but the sheriff did say there's a lot more that they have out for testing, and they're still awaiting some of those results. They said sometimes it takes 10 to 20 days. They got an expedited, obviously, blood. They got that expedited, so they were able to get Nancy's results back, and that is Nancy's blood.
They are goal.
You know, it clears it up, but it's also
real.
hard to hear that. They also processed the scene for biological evidence, still trying to process those samples as well. They didn't say which one, and they would not. They would not go into the crime scene itself. Every question everybody tried, he said, no.
You think so, Tambo? I don't
Let's
know.
talk suspects now, because this was my big reporting. And again, I will use the wording that my impeccable source used.
You hear it again.
If you're going to disseminate this, use these words. They're the words I have used. They're the words that my sources used. Son-in-law may be prime suspect now. Okay? The sheriff has pushed back hard on that, saying no suspects identified at this time. No suspects identified at this time. I get it.
David is douche canoe?
But also said no one's being ruled out. Very strenuously, no suspects identified at this time. And even went so far as to suggest it's reckless to suggest otherwise. But I have been to this rodeo many times before. Law enforcement sometimes will be saying one thing publicly and doing something different privately. It happened with Brian Kohberger, December 19th. 2022, they identified Brian Kohberger as the owner of the DNA on the knife sheath. And the next day, on December 20th, the Moscow police chief recorded and posted on the police Facebook, "We do not have a suspect." Let me read it. "No suspect or suspects identified, and only vetted information that does not hinder the investigation will be released to the public. We encourage referencing official releases and accurate, updated information." So they had Brian Kohberger. They'd already followed him across the country. And then they told us there are no suspects that have been identified. So I have been through this before. I have checked with my source.
Or we're going to have to make a meme of that, or an emoji.
Regularly, 3 days in a row. Nothing has changed. And what my source actually said to me today is sometimes when you're taking pot shots, you are standing right on the target. Those were the words. Sometimes when you're taking shots, you are right on the target. So for what it's worth, I stand by this reporting. I stand by this impeccable source. And I stand by the fact that some of these things in the investigation that have been released and then walked back from the sheriff's department and then changed, and I've got a few of those examples coming up, have made me feel like something may be happening differently behind the scenes than we're hearing in the press conferences. Got a great example of that with somebody who asked, "Are you actively investigating the son-in-law?" And the answer was, we're actively looking at everybody we come across in this case. At everybody. And he went on to say the Uber driver, because Nancy took an Uber over to Annie and Tommaso's house earlier that day around 5-6 o'clock for a family evening together. And so they have connected with that Uber driver. And then he went on to list, the gardener, the pool person, everybody is a suspect in our eyes, he said. Then he said again, it would be reckless
Just wait,
to report
y'all,
that
the
someone
emoji
is a
is
suspect when
coming.
they could very well be a victim. Well, if it's not true, you're absolutely right. And this is the reporting from a law enforcement source. Son-in-law may be prime suspect at this time. And then he went on to say, we just really don't have enough to say this is our suspect, this is our guy, or this is our gal. That's a quote. We just don't know that. The family's been very cooperative. And then he said, sometimes people can be mean out there, and that can really harm us and harm our efforts. I can assure you there's no intention of being mean. Reporters come up against this all the time, especially in gag orders, especially in investigations. And the only information the public gets, or the neighbors, or anybody who's worried, is what we are able to find from our sources. Once again, impeccable source, have been at this game for a very long time. As for the cameras, I reported from my source that the cameras, and I'll use the words that my source used, Nest cams were smashed. And the sheriff was unusual with that today, said that the cameras were removed, said the cameras in the timeline were disconnected. And then when a reporter asked were they smashed, the answer was, quote, don't know where you got the information about smashed. We're not confirming that. Didn't say no. He didn't deny it. Also, a reporter pushed further on that and said, regarding the disconnected camera, do you believe that camera was taken? And the sheriff said, we do not have it in our possession. We have not located it. So is this semantics? The cameras were potentially smashed off of their mounts and taken because he said, we don't have them. We have not located it. And then he confirmed that there are actually two, which is what my reporting said. There were more than one. There were two cameras that were smashed. He also said that something triggered the first camera at 1:47 a.m. So that's sort of when they believe that perhaps the proximity to the house for whomever did this began. 1:47 a.m. But the camera company can't give them video of it. They just know that there was an alert activity. There's activity on the camera at 1:47 a.m. There's also activity that's recorded, even though the camera is disconnected and removed around 1:47 a.m. There's activity that is alerted at 2:28 a.m. So about 45 minutes between the first alert and the last alert on those cameras. Two camera hits. And the problem is that the information from the camera company doesn't delineate which cameras. Was it an animal? Or was it something going by? It just says alert.
Let's go.
Again, because Nancy Guthrie apparently didn't have the subscription to actually be able to see what was detected. It just said person detected. The software just said person detected. Let's talk about the vehicle. I reported from my source that the daughter of Nancy Guthrie,
that's right.
Annie,
they said Uber did take her home.
Had been towed.
I thought previous reports said that Tommaso was the one that dropped her off, and Tommaso was the last person to see her. Did I just remember that wrong?
Was in evidence. And today, when asked about the vehicle, the sheriff said the vehicle that was towed, that's standard. It's part of the search warrant process. It's being processed. So I think that is clear that that reporting bears out. The bizarre part of this news conference, there were a few bizarre, but one of the more bizarre parts of this news conference today was the sheriff has said to several different outlets in several different ways who dropped Nancy Guthrie off at 9:48-ish on Saturday night. I think it was varying stories. Annie or Tommaso or Annie and Tommaso. And so the reporters asked for clarity.
I swear to God, I thought that's what it was.
One, the other, or both who were the last people to drop Nancy off and see her? And the answer was alarming. Just family. We're going to go with family. That was what the sheriff said. Just family. We're going to go with family. New York Times was told by this sheriff that the last person to drop off Nancy Guthrie.
Drop off, you guys. This is what I'm talking about right here. Sheriff Nanos told the New York Times that Miss Guthrie had dinner at the home of her older daughter, Annie, and son-in-law, Tommaso Ciampa, sorry, that's the name of a wrestler, Tommaso Cioni, on Saturday, and that Mr. Cioni took her home around 9:50. So was it Tommaso or was it Uber? There's conflicting information, and we need to know the answers, you guys. We need to know.
Was Tommaso, Annie's husband, Tommaso. I don't know why he wouldn't say the same thing during the news conference or clear that up, but he decided to say just family. We're going to go with family. As to forced entry, he didn't say there was or there wasn't, and I reported there was forced entry. That came from my source. He said, I don't know where that comes from, whether there is or isn't forced entry.
So in the previous video that we just watched with Brian Enton, he was the one that reported that it was an Uber that took her home. So I don't know. There's conflicting information.
That's something we're not discussing. So again, doesn't knock it down, doesn't confirm or deny.
Oh, Deanna just put out the wild question out there. Does the son-in-law drive for Uber? Because then maybe those reports are both right.
So a reporter asked, was this targeted? And the answer that was given is, that's why we have the FBI. Maybe it is a kidnapping, he says. And yet,
I don't know, but somebody's got some explaining to do.
On Monday, when I interviewed the sheriff, he said definitively to me, it is a kidnapping. I'm not sure why they're hedging on that. And he said, we don't have anything to rule that out. Again, I'm not sure why they're hedging. Many of us were told it is an abduction. It is a kidnapping. And as far as motive, the sheriff said, my guesswork is as good as yours. The FBI also said there's nothing to indicate that Nancy was taken because she is Savannah's mom. That's interesting. So nothing maybe in these ransom letters says, I know that you've got this, national news anchor who's very successful with NBC behind her. Nothing suggests that, according to the FBI. So the investigation and the strategy, the FBI said that they've looked through banks, social media, phone companies. They're looking through the digital footprints. They're still going door to door and asking questions and asking for ring cam. They have contacted pharmacies to find out if maybe.
All right, y'all. You guys got your new emoji in the chat. You guys got your cash emoji. Just for y'all.
Please God, they have gotten her the life-saving medication that she needs, but there's been nothing so far. And they are not communicating with the Mexican authorities. This is very close to the border. There's been a lot of talk about the Border Patrol, but this was definitive. They do not think that she was taken out of the country. They do not think that she was spirited across the border. They are not even communicating with the Mexican authorities. Clearly, they do not believe that is a big part of this investigation. This question was huge. This next one. Are you purposely withholding information because of the active investigation? I listened very carefully to this because I feel like the sheriff has called me reckless because of my reporting. And I stand by my reporting and I stand by my ironclad source. So I listened very carefully, again, to this question. Are you purposely withholding information because of the active investigation? And I want you to hear for yourself exactly the words that the sheriff used. Take a look.
This is no different than any criminal investigation that we conduct here. Law enforcement has conducted investigations since 1865 here in Pima County. We're always mindful of what it is that's in front of us and what we should release and can release. There's legal guidelines that guide us, but there's also strategy too. So, I'll leave that for you to determine.
So that is fascinating to me. This is no different than any criminal investigation than we conduct here. We're always mindful of what's in front of us and what we should release and can release. There's legal guidelines that guide us, but there's also strategy too. I'll leave that for you to determine. So possibly my reporting is being knocked down for that reason. Maybe not. Again, I have said from the beginning, law enforcement reserves every right to change their minds in an investigation, and they should be open to that. They should have been open to it in John Ramsey. They should have been open to it in Ed Smart. They should have been open to it in Richard Jewell. Eventually they were, but that is what they're supposed to do. Go where the investigation takes them.
Welcome
But
back,
right
DJ
now,
See No
my
Evil.
source says it has taken them to the son-in-law who may be a prime suspect right now. Okay. So then, should the federal reinforcements have been brought in earlier, meaning the crime scene was dismantled, the tape came down, I think it was like 30 or 40 hours from the 911 call, and the sheriff he's owning it. He's saying, look, I get it. The Monday morning quarterbacking, he says, I will take that hit. Other people who are very knowledgeable about investigations have said, don't worry. The FBI is going in for something entirely different. Yes and no. They may or may not have been able to get what they needed when they put the crime scene tape back up and went in for like 2 hours yesterday. But the courts are an issue, and the courts would have to sort that out in any potential
earlier, Tambo, yeah.
prosecution afterwards, because a defense attorney will say, are you kidding me? This evidence was compromised. There were reporters walking all over the place. The crime scene tape was down. Anybody could have gone in. So it could be an issue, but oftentimes it might not be either. So there's 50-50 on that. And there's a few other quotes directly from the sheriff that I'd like to share with you.
From Fox Digital. Sheriff, you said you've identified no suspects. Have you ruled out anyone she was with on Saturday night?
You know, we've talked to so many. I'm sure that my investigators have feelings about this one's clear or this one isn't. But no, I wouldn't say anybody's ruled out yet, because what if I rule you out and then later I learn something else? No.
Have you been in communication with anyone who you believe could be the kidnapper?
You know, it goes back to what we talked about. Nobody's eliminated, but we just really don't have enough to say, this is our suspect, this is our guy, we know, or our gal. We just don't know that.
Are you actively investigating the son-in-law in this case? Well, there were reports earlier this week, and you refuted that. You said you haven't eliminated everybody. Have you eliminated him or come close to it, or are you actively looking at him?
We're actively looking at everybody we come across in this case. Everybody. We would be irresponsible if we didn't talk to everybody. The Uber driver, the gardener, the pool person, whoever. Everybody.
Quit your lying.
So cliche, but everybody's still a suspect in our eyes. That's just how we look at things and think as cops. Does that mean we have a prime? No, and the family's been very cooperative. They've done everything we've asked of them, and we want that relationship to continue. And sometimes people can be mean out there, and that can really harm us.
The FBI has now offered a $50,000 reward for information that will help find Nancy. They're also going to start putting up billboards in the vicinity. And then I thought it again strange. There was an announcement made at the end that there will be no further press conferences unless warranted, unless information is warranted. So I just want to keep you up to speed on all of the reporting. And I have had so many phone calls from media outlets and former colleagues and, you know, people I've worked with for years or known for years in the business asking me, are you sure? Are you sure? And I am standing by my reporting. I have done this a long time. I had a reporter ask me recently, well, you've left a major network where the standards are different and now you're working for your own outfit. Have you relaxed your standards? I have not relaxed who I am and what I have built over 4 decades of being a correspondent, an anchor, a war correspondent, a victim of 9/11, and someone who has spent more hours in court than I could possibly ever count. I have not. This would be the exact same reporting if I worked at CNN, MSNBC, Fox, ABC, NBC, CBS, or News Nation. So just so you know, I have an incredible source. I stand by that source. I have communicated regularly with that source. And I have also said exactly what that source said and how things can change. So if you're going to re-report again what I say, please just use the words that I use. And then also be mindful when you listen to how the sheriff answers, because I am seeing a lot of room for movement there. As always, I'm so thankful that you are following this case with me, that you watch and listen to this podcast. Thank you for being a part of this community. And remember, the truth The truth isn't just serious, it is drop dead serious.
Ooh. Okay. Okay. So what do you guys think, huh? What are y'all thinking? Here, I made a new one for you guys. Here it is. What y'all think? You guys got your cash emoji. What y'all think? Money is not the root of all evil. It's the greed for money that's the true root of all evil. Shout out to DJ See No Evil. I agree, right? Can you imagine how Savannah and brother will feel if it's true and they've been staying there comforting Annie? Ugh. Yeah, that is so sad. Your eyes, you can see that. I think he can see you too, right? Eee. Let's see. Let's see. Do we watch this one? Y'all tell me. Y'all are in control tonight. This is your show. Because if it's not, I'm calling him. I'm calling him. This one's local news. Anything? Let's see. Drop some cash in the emojis. Drop some cash. Drop some cash. That's what we're going to have to say now, right? Every time I tell you guys to drop some cash in the chats, some people are probably going to think we're asking them for some money, but we're not. Drop some cash in the chats. That's hilarious. All right, you guys, I think we are all caught up. What y'all think? Oops, didn't play. There you go. So that was a lot, y'all. Tambo's traumatized. Do me a favor, y'all. Drop some cash in the chats. There you go. I see some cash in the chats. Hey, there you go, Laura. I like that. I think we are pretty much all caught up. I think we've seen a lot tonight. We've had an opportunity to discuss, share some good insight. There you go. Look at all these cash. Ooh, it's raining cash. Look at all that money. Chameleon said, well, AB is going to have to eat one huge humble pie if she is wrong. Is she willing to take such a mega risk? That with all of her media experience, I doubt it, but even great sources can let you down. That's true. That's absolutely true. But imagine how impeccable her sources would be if she is if she is correct. Now, I mean, some of you guys mentioned earlier in the chat that her name did appear in those files. You think she's really just trying to stand 10 toes down? I don't know. I think we're gonna have to wait and see, right? Now, if you're lurking in the background and you haven't joined the chat, I mean, you probably couldn't have, right? Because it's only subscribers only. Do me a favor, subscribe to the channel. We had a good time tonight. We had our tight-knit little community, our inner circle hanging out. It's crazy how the chats are still super green. And I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. That just means I'm hanging out with the people that support me. I wish I could just call off work tomorrow and just hang out with y'all all day. But I'll probably have to do some early ones on Saturday and Sunday. All right, y'all. I think that's going to be it for tonight. I do appreciate all of you guys that hung out. Don't leave yet, because I do want to thank everybody that supported the channel tonight. Cash H became a member of the Inner Circle. Soul Power Tarot Coaching became a member of the Inner Circle. Melon3875 with her $5 super chat. Coco Mom gifted 5 memberships today. Hey, Jazzy Jess with her member chat in the inner circle. And then Jazzy Jess just sent another membership. Coco Mom also sent us a Cash App donation, so I appreciate you being kind and thinking of the creators. Oh, let me see. Let me see. Oh, all right. Here, I'm gonna share one comment with you guys. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are. I'm reading something. Hold on. Let me make sure I give a shout out to this. I don't know if I can say your name out loud because I don't recognize this name in the chat. Okay, but anyways, one of our supporters sent us a screenshot of a comment that was left under a video. Listen to this. It says, you may be interested to know that Derek Colella was once a roommate to Dominic Evans, a person who was a band member of Tommaso. Ooh. Did y'all hear what I just said? Did y'all just hear what I just said? You may be interested to know that Derek Colella was once a roommate to Dominic Evans, a band member of Tommaso. Now that's weird, right? The person who made the bogus ransom call or the letter, text message, call, whatever. Melon just became a member of the inner circle. Welcome, 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 Melon. But yeah, imagine. Listen to this. You may be interested to know that Derek Colella was once a roommate to Dominic Evans, a band member of Tommaso. Oh boy. Oh boy. Now, if there is any truth to that, now somebody shared this on a comment under somebody's video, and I was just sent the screenshot of this. Now, if there's any truth to that Tommaso's friend or roommate is friends with Derek Colella, it's not looking too good, y'all. All they need to do is make that connection, and somebody gonna get hurt. So I don't know. Let me know what y'all think in the chat, y'all. Drop some cash in the chats. Again, Melon, welcome to the inner circle. If you guys are on Discord, we do take it off of YouTube sometimes, and we do continue the conversation over there. So if you are a new member, go to the community wall, check out the Discord link, and make sure that you join the inner circle. That's pretty sus, right? I'm telling you, we like to do the deep dives over here, right? It's a 3-hour show, so we might as well make it worth it for all of you guys. And I do appreciate everything that you guys have done for this channel. From the day that I had 0 subscribers all the way to now, we hit not 100. We hit over 1,000 subs because of you guys. And it's only up from here, right? You lost your circle. Oh, well, if you type the word circle, the emoji should pop up. You can drop this one, Tambo. Look, we got a inner circle emoji. Oh, I'm sorry, Mel N. I'm sorry. Don't shoot me. Don't shoot. I'm sorry, Mel. Okay, I'm gonna just call you Mel then. Can you guys tell I'm having a hard time getting off because I don't want to go? I don't want to go work tomorrow. Maybe I should just call off. When you know that you know. So now you know, right, Nebby? Let them know. David has just joined the police. Check out my emoji. I love it. So Mel is asking, I wonder if there was a connection. It sounds pretty sus to me, right? invalid emoji. He was or is in the band, but I don't know if they were roommates, but I'm digging. I'm digging. Oh, you're okay, hold on. Let me see. I was wondering if there was a connection between those two. Yeah, well, I mean, hey, look. Somebody sent us a screenshot. Now we're going to have to go back and validate it, right? We got to vet it. Again, take it with a grain of salt. Yeah, Cindy, I think that's quite the accomplishment, right? Because we went from 500 subs to 1,000 in less than 30 days. And it's all because of you guys. You guys help push my videos out there to the algorithm. You guys liked it. You guys are crazy. I'm gonna let you guys know right now. The people in the inner circle, y'all are crazy in the comments. And I try to respond to every single comment that you guys leave. So continue to have those comments come because I love responding to them. I really do enjoy responding to the comments. You guys are really holding it down. David is waiting. That's your new one? But I do appreciate all of you guys. Do me a favor. I don't know if you guys can hype videos or any of my videos, but if you guys can, do me a favor, hype the video, right? We had a small crowd today, so liking the video, hyping it up afterwards will only help us push it out into that favorite A word, right? The algorithm. Yeah, now you guys got to use a regular circle. Fine. I'm gonna put it back. Y'all just gotta bear with me. But we'll put it back. I didn't know you guys used it, so that's my bad. We're gonna have to get rid of another emoji though. Okay, before you guys go, I need you guys to vote down in the emojis and let me know which one we gotta remove, so we can bring the circle back. Which one we gonna remove? Unless you guys want to keep the ones that we have and then just use a stock. Oh, you can? Is that so, Tambo? I didn't know you can only hype 3 times a week. Well, save me one. Save one for your boy. I think we might have the first cache. Okay, we'll get rid of it. We'll get rid of that one. Fine. Let me fix this really quick. Let me see. I might have to hang tight with me, you guys. Don't you go nowhere. All right, we're gonna get rid of the first cache, the one that says "got him." The hype option will only show up after the live is over. Just FYI, Janine. But thank you though for checking. Hey. Darcy likes this cache. All right. We're gonna vote. Oh, I have to, let me see. Hold on. I have to end. Okay, we have to end the last poll. Do you sleep with your Apple Watch or smartwatch device? 75% of you guys said no. All right, let me see if I can bring this back. Let me see. No, hold on. You guys got to vote for it. You guys are going to have to vote. We're going to have to vote. Which cache are we getting rid of? First or the second? And I'm gonna let you guys vote, okay? I gotta get the power to the people. So here you go. And the polls are open now. And the first one is the one that says "got him." Oh, this is unanimous, you guys. All right, I'm letting y'all decide. We're gonna put the OG inner circle logo back. Uh-oh. All right. It's back. Now if you guys refresh your chat, it should be there. Is it there? All right, y'all, it's back. It's back. Here we go. Let's go. This emoji is cracking me up. There you go, Tambo. I like this one though. Y'all don't like this one? Got ice in my veins.
Ooh, Padbo is doing some digging right now. Last name is crazy. Yo.
Okay. If y'all keep chatting, I'm not gonna go anywhere. We're just gonna hang out. Let's see, is there anything else? We got through this. Do I? Of course I do. Oh, I do. You know what? Gold Digger, I seen it earlier, but I couldn't recognize the name. So shout out to Gold Digger for your Venmo donation. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And I didn't forget about you, but I wanted to say I didn't recognize the name. So thank you. Yes. Oh yeah, Mama Flo even got her own emoji. Mama Flo. Are we gonna let Cash into the inner circle? I want to make more emojis for you guys, ones that you guys will enjoy, right? Emojis that you guys come up with. But we do need some more members to join because we're at our max right now. Hey, wow. Preacher, welcome to the inner circle. Thank you so much, Preacher. Thank you. And thank you, Goal, for your Venmo donation. I appreciate you. I love you guys. That's gonna be it for tonight, you guys. We're gonna be back tomorrow. I feel like I have to stream every day now. But anyways, thank you guys so much. I do appreciate all of you guys that donated to the channel, that became members of the inner circle, the Venmo, the Cash Apps. I appreciate you guys. That's going to be it for tonight. Thank you guys for tuning in to Filling in the Gaps with your boy Flo Joe, and I will see you guys later. Peace, you guys.